Because you're my friend. I will only burp in front of you, Nick. That was live. Hi, everyone.
Okay.
GameHounds podcast. GameHounds podcast. We're here. Nick is getting ready to go on a jet plane to go to Florida, Texas.
Florida.
And
Yes.
I am here, and we're just finishing up our preparations for das show. Even though we said last week that we weren't going to have a show, after we finished the show last week, Nick's like, oh, wait, I don't leave until 8:00 that night. I can totally do a show. So that's why we're having a show.
But next week, I will be traveling on Sunday. I'll be on a plane flying back.
Perfect, because next week I am preparing for an auction of a bunch of stuff that needs
Frozen
to be
turkeys?
auctioned up. Yes. It does include the frozen. Actually, the frozen turkeys aren't going to be auctioned, but the refrigerators, the freezers are. So the frozen turkeys are going to go, but the freezers are going. Everything else is going.
Everything must go, including the turkeys.
And my brother and I have to prepare for it, and we're having actually a professional company do it. So we have to have everything in place on a certain date so that they can come and arrange everything and take photos of it, promote it for 3 weeks, and then we are not allowed into the building. We can't touch anything. Yeah, that's how that works, is that once they have their hands on it, you're not allowed in. Because they don't want you looking and going, I think I want to keep that. I think I want to keep that. I think I want to keep that. Or, they don't want us fucking with it, because once it's in their room and they've taken photos of it, it's getting sold. So, Ian and I have to do a bunch of preparation for that, and we're going to do it. I'm taking Friday off, so we're going to go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, working our asses off to get everything moved out that we don't want sold, everything in that we do want sold, and it's going to take a lot of time. So it's perfect. You're not here. I'm not here. Definitely no show next week.
Okay.
Unless Andrew wants to do a solo show. He doesn't. Hey, we got AC Wraith in the chat room. We got Ezio Helsing. I got nothing before we start the show. Thank you for a reminder. By the way, if you are in here, hi, everybody. Hi. Please hit the notification bell. Please hit the like button. You have no idea the difference that makes. It's appreciated. And if you are wanting to get notifications that we're doing this in the future, when we do it, subscribe. And if you are not already a patron of ours, please become a patron of ours. It makes such a difference. Patreon.com/GameHounds. $1 a month is all we ask. We don't put anything behind paywalls or anything like that. It's just we like to have you become someone that partners with us to help keep us going, keep us on the air. You have no idea how much it costs just to do this. It's insane. I actually did my accounting last year and found out how much I spend on it. And it is mind-boggling when I realized how much it costs just to do a basic podcast like this. So anyway, should we start the show?
Yes.
Okay, let's start the show. Let's go down to our assets. Do not loop the track, because that always gets us into trouble. All right, starting the show now.
This podcast discusses video games, pop culture, and technology, and these podcasters have big, fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom said to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode, what is it, 818. We are recording this on May 3rd, 2026. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
So, we might as well just start jumping into games because, I haven't felt a game bite like this in a really, really long time.
Which game?
Windrose.
Oh,
Oh, it's hitting hard for me.
okay.
It's really the more I get into it, the more I realize what an incredibly deep, complex game it is. And I haven't researched this as much as I have researched, say, for example, Crusader Kings.
Mhm.
Crusader Kings 3, I needed to do a lot of research on that in order to just scratch the surface. And it was, I mean, it that was almost, I had to get a PhD in video games to do that one. This isn't that bad, but it's in the neighborhood of. It is a game for if you are a numbers wonk in any way, um, somebody that will try to, I don't say min max, but wants appreciates a game that adds more complexity than just here's your weapon and here's the damage it does and you upgrade it. If you have someone that actually likes to tinker around with stats and figure out doing this to your weapon versus doing that to your weapon and whether it's worth it for the increased upgrade based on your current stats, if you're that kind of person, this is very much the game for you. If you are someone who likes combat that requires you to be very strategic and really conserve and manage things like strength, things like especially your stamina, this is your game. If you're someone who just wants to run in a hack and slash, you'll not do very well at all. If you're someone who recognizes that you have this particular kind of weapon and you can hit using the only XYZ amount of times, like 3 times or 2 times, and then you need to take a step back to recharge your stamina because this is a heavy weapon, that's what this is. Once I started diving into some of the, I don't want to say min-max people, but a little bit the numbers wonk people of breaking down and testing different numbers, different strengths, different stats in different categories. Once I started looking into that and recognizing what I had to do to be better at that game has gotten better. I still have my ass handed to me regularly simply because I screwed up and made some tiny screw up, and then all of a sudden it's just everything falls apart and I get killed by a dodo bird. Well, at this point,
Still the fucking dodos.
a dodo can kill you absolutely if you're just fuck up. Like you just miss a parry or you let yourself get too winded and get into a winded state. If you do that, a dodo can kill you no matter how big and badass you are, no matter what weapon you're carrying or what armor you've got on. If you screw up, it punishes you for screwing up. So
So like with the stats, are the stats like this weapon scales off strength, this weapon scales off dexterity?
yes.
Oh my god, Edie.
Yeah.
Edie, you're
I know what you're
playing.
gonna say. I know what you're gonna say, and fuck you. I know what you're
Hey,
gonna say.
I love it. I love it. Baby steps. Baby steps.
I refuse. I refuse to accept.
Strength scaling, stamina management.
And
Okay.
you can stop me if this is similar to a Souls-like. But your weapons not only do a certain type of damage, there is your weapon level and then your weapon class tier and your own level that is how it affects or how your damage is affected by your own level versus your weapon level. That if your
Okay.
weapon if your weapon is at one level below whatever you're fighting, like say you're fighting something that's a level 3 and your weapon is a level 2, you lose 25% of your damage on that creature or that person.
Okay.
And that scales both up and down. In addition, each of the levels or each of the weapons have their own weapon tier. C, B, A, S. And it's
Yeah, that makes
essentially
sense.
and the higher the class, the more your points within the stat that affects that weapon take effect. So a certain 1 point into if you have like say a precision weapon, which are guns. If your gun is if you have an S tier gun and a B tier gun, if you put a point into precision, it will affect and you will get more increased damage on the S tier than you will on the C tier. Does
Okay,
that make
yeah,
sense?
the scaling goes the
The scale,
scaling is increased
right.
based on the tier of the weapon.
The second
And so
derivative, the
are
rate of the change.
are those tier rankings random or are those like by weapon? So in the early game, you're not going to find an S tier weapon because you're just a poor man on an island, or is it all random and so you do have a chance of finding an S tier weapon?
No, it's you won't find those. It
Okay.
essentially equates to common, rare, epic, legendary. Those it's essentially that kind of scaling. The weapon tier is that. And it will actually have the gray, green, blue, purple, gold.
Okay. Okay.
Same idea of it being of rarity. And you will find an occasional blue weapon in which is the A, I think it is, or B, I can't remember. I think it's A. But you'll find those weapons in early stage game. And you will get legendaries later on that are usually a part of a quest.
Okay.
And I've
Yeah.
only known that because I've done a lot more research and watched a lot of videos of other people playing.
Okay.
But it's a it's it's big, it's fun. It also, and I don't know if this is the case with Elden Ring or with Demon Souls, but you can cheese the fuck out of this game.
I mean, it is early access.
Yeah. For example, I was watching one of my favorite gamers to watch is Let's Game It Out, Josh, who essentially his whole shtick is he breaks games. He goes in and tries to fuck with games and do things and is willing to spend hours and hours and hours of building things that shouldn't be built, if only just to reduce the frame rate, just to see how high he can go, how bad he can make it, how he could screw with this game. And one of the things that he did, and I'm very tempted, is there was a pirate camp and he was getting his ass handed to him because that's what pirates do. He essentially denuded the entire island, beginning island that he was on. So he had all of the wood and all of the stone, and he figured out that you can just build walls anywhere. So he built walls around their camp and then built a funnel that funnels the guys down to the beach, where he had a room with a big wall in the back and a very short wall facing the beach. And he lured them all out there, made them all funnel into that little room in the beach where he parked his ship with all the cannons.
Oh.
I just blew them all up. And it's like, woohoo, okay, that was easy. This is a game made for like, what can I do here? The using of ship cannons to harvest wood. It's a lot of people doing that.
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah. If you quickly need to deforest an area.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Have you gotten off the island yet?
Oh yeah, I've gotten off the island. I have gotten off the island. I have gotten my little ship. I have found a broken ship and repaired it, and now I'm in the process of finding crew members who have been captured by pirate bandits, and they're being held in cages all over. So I'm in the process of doing that. I'm also actually, as of today, upgrading and making a bigger base, because at this point, I know it's a little early, but I kind of want to set myself up for the future, because my starting island is probably going to be a trading post at some point in the future.
Okay.
So I want to build with that in mind, including planting crops and being able to farm things like flax and peppers and limes and stuff, so that
self-sustaining colony.
You're making a colony, right?
Huh.
Yeah, that is very detailed, and it makes a big difference, because food, oh God, something else I didn't know that I had to like look and find out. Your food gives you buffs. Different higher tier foods with slightly more difficult ingredients give you really good buffs, and they make a massive difference. Don't walk out the door without eating some good food that increases your stats. And unlike other games, you can carry 2 buffs from foods. Normally, if you have a buff from a food, you only get 1 buff per food, or you only get to carry 1 buff. And if you get another food, it doesn't stack. It actually replaces. So you essentially waste food. In this case, you can have 2 buffs due to food. Now, do you want to stack your vitality? Absolutely. But maybe you don't want to stack vitality. Maybe you want to increase vitality and you want to increase stamina. The 2 things that I am running up against very much so in my own game is stamina and vitality. So being strategic on your foods, meaning also being very strategic in your finding and locating and marking where those ingredients grow.
That's nice, so that you know where to go collect them later.
Right, because they do respawn.
Useful.
Everything respawns, including mines, which I was very concerned about. When you're mining, you run out of it's like, say you screw up and it's like, fuck, I have just enough copper to upgrade my weapon, and then you mistakenly make a metal pot and you can't dismantle the metal pot. It's like, fuck, I am 3 bars short of being able to upgrade my weapon. And means I have to go find another mine because I've already mined out the first mine. No, mines respawn ore, which is nice. So there's no I don't say there's no impetus to move on. Obviously, the game wants you to move on, because it would be a really just boring building game, and you will reach a certain level of you can't build anymore without discovering more stuff out in the world. But at least if you want to slow play your early game, it's not going to penalize you for doing that. Taking the time to learn the fundamentals of the game, like understanding food and understanding combat and understanding weaponry and understanding crafting, all of those things, learning early on, very important later, because as your settlement gains complexity, understanding the fundamentals is essential. And I haven't got myself a real ship, but I've got a little dinghy that I can get from point A to point B as far as I want. You can sail your dinghy anywhere you want to. And the other nice thing, all of those Blackbeard ships that are patrolling the waters and are highly aggressive everywhere you go, I don't think that they allow those ships. They'll allow the ships to chase you and shoot cannons at you, absolutely. But I don't think they can actually hit you when you're in the small ship. Which is nice because it initially gives you like the oh shit, they're firing at me, run. And of course you can't run because you're in a little dinghy that only goes 10 knots. But because they can't hit you, it does allow you to kind of cheese the game if you feel like it and take a very small, very slow boat anywhere you want. So you could go to some of these places that are very high level. Now, the minute you step off the ship, you're going to die. But you can go there. And you could, in theory, set up a fast travel bell so that you can go there later if you want to. There's lots of little, like I said, little ways to cheese the game if you choose to cheese the game that way. You could get onto that island as long as you can find a rock. If you jump up on a rock, you're probably safe. And if you have a gun and enough gunpowder, and I mean you'd probably need a lot of gunpowder, you could, in theory, kill a dodo on one of those islands or a boar on one of those islands. But you'd have to get to the rock and you'd have to have enough gunpowder. And by the way, you can't make gunpowder in the early stages. You have to get it by fighting pirates. So it's kind of making you do things. Like, it's
pointing you in a direction.
It's pointing you in the direction and gently encouraging you to kind of, you need to move on.
Yeah.
And because you aren't able to make gunpowder until I'll say very late in the game. You can make gunpowder fairly, I would say, early middle stage. Oh yeah, definitely after the first island, after the second island, probably closer to the third island. And now all the islands they're not procedurally generated, they're procedurally located. So my islands will be located differently than your islands, but on the island, there's always going to be the stuff that's there, and generally speaking, the same place. Like my island, the coast my island, my starter island, will be located at a different place than your starter island. And the coastline will be different than your starter island. But mine is going to be in exactly the same place on that island. The two ruins are going to be in exactly the same place on our islands. So there is a similarity and yet there is a difference. Also, I mean, I'm seeing like these videos of groups of people that are playing it together. So they just go on and they will play. Remember how we played what's the game that AC Wraith, the game that AC Wraith loves to play, the free game, where we had the GameHounds base, something frame,
the
Warframe.
sci-fi one,
Warframe.
Yes, Warframe.
Remember how we have Warframe where we had the GameHounds team, and if you were on the GameHounds team, then you could go to the GameHounds base, and every time we went in there was something different because AC Wraith had made something different in the GameHounds base.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Okay.
If we play multiplayer, we can build that base together. We can play that thing together. We can go out and we can actually play together if we want to, or we don't have to. You can log in And you get to be able to help each other. Like I have a gun. In playing, I got through some part of whatever it is, and I end up getting a gun. I can take that gun, put it into a chest. When you come on, you can pick up that gun and put it back in the chest, and you now have the plans to that gun that you can make yourself.
Oh, I see. So it's not just sharing the weaponry, it's sharing the blueprints for it so that I can
Sharing
craft
the
it later.
blueprints, sharing the resources, all of that. So essentially, you become a team making a multiplayer settlement. It's in a lot of ways a bit like an MMO, but it's not an MMO, obviously, because it's not massive. But it is a multiplayer game in that way that, and we have our own games. I'm doing my quest, you're doing your quests. You come across something different than I do, you can put it in the chest. I can look at it, get the weapon skills. Somebody else joins, they're a lower level. That's cool. Just go in there, pick up the weapons, look at them, put it back in the chest. Now you have all of the weapon schematics.
This seems like a really interesting mix of like MMO mechanics with Souls-like combat RPG stat management, with Black Flag style ship combat, with survival game like immediate gameplay loops. It's a survival crafting MMO Souls-like Black Flag-like sim.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, it has definitely got me by these short curlies, and I am playing the crap out of it, and all you know a game is good. You know a game is good when I wait for my boss to go to lunch so I can load it up and play on my work computer. And as soon as I hear the door open when he's coming back from lunch, I Windows out of it and shut it down.
You're like, fuck, I'll tab.
I'll tab. Okay, good. Oh yeah, no, totally. I'm looking at the invoicing for next month.
Yeah. Oh, the expense reports. Yeah. I'm working
The
on
TPS
those.
reports. I've got
Yep,
the TPS reports right
TPS
here.
I've got so many of them to do. I would really like to just get back to them. So, give me some space.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll tab back.
Oh, and incidentally, as I'm watching the video here of this guy chopping wood and cutting down trees, is on your island, you can actually make permanent changes to the islands. Not everything respawns. If you chop down a tree and you just chop the tree up after it falls and collect the wood, that tree will regrow. But if you chop down the stump, the tree doesn't regrow. So you can actually clear large sections of your island for development. You can clear your whole island for development if you want. It's not advisable, but at least an early stage.
That's a nice balance of being able to say, look, these will respawn. You can choose if you want the tree to respawn, because sometimes you want respawning trees for the resources, but you also want the space to build.
Right. You want the
That's
space
really
to create
nice.
into farmland so that you can grow, stands of ficus trees or stands of hardwood or a massive amount of flax so that you can make cloth. So yeah, I don't want to see it's a game trying to do too much, because it doesn't seem like it's trying to do too much, but it's doing a lot.
It's doing a lot, but it sounds like it's doing a lot really well.
It's doing a lot really, really well. I'm pleasantly surprised at I started to play it because it looked so much like Black Flag. It's like, woohoo, this was the Black Flag game, the Skull and Bones I wanted.
Yeah.
With a little bit of base building. Cool. And the more I'm getting into it, the more I realize, oh no, it's like you said, it's Souls-like combat. It is very deep calculations on creating and upgrading weapons. It is like not just base building, it is settlement building. It is sailing very, very. In fact, let me see if I can go forward and so you can actually see the ship combat. The ship combat, it's what Black Flag was.
Yeah, that's what initially got me intrigued by this. Is that it looks like Black Flag the same week that Black Flag announced the remake.
Right, right. And Black Flag does look better than this game, but this game is so much more
Yeah,
than what Black Flag is, which Black Flag was my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Hands down. Fantastic story, really
fair.
good. There were a ton of like the types of missions I found to be really fun, just in general. But that is a very classic RPG, combat RPG.
It's also just bigger team.
Right. This isn't that. It's so much more. This is a game that you will theoretically could be playing for years and years with your friends. Now, question, how much more gameplay are you going to have of the actual missions? I don't know. How much more time are they going to be putting into these missions and adding DLC? I have a feeling quite a lot because this is selling like crazy. It is getting nothing but just overwhelmingly positive reviews.
Yeah.
Especially as people are getting into it and realizing this is a much bigger game than what we thought. We came into it looking for Assassin's Creed, and we ended up with Warframe. So I see them also, and because it's a small team, it's an independent studio, I see them very much taking the time to continuously update this so that it goes on for quite some time. And also, not just update it, but also expand it so that, and it's already a pretty damn big map, but adding more to it so that it becomes much more of a pirate simulation as opposed to just a pirate game. So yeah,
That's really cool. Okay.
I'm waiting for you to play this. I am waiting for you to play this while you are in the air, so that because if you like it, I am there for it.
Because I've checked
absolutely there for it,
and I can play it offline, so I can play it in airplane mode.
Good. Definitely save a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of
save
death.
scumming. I will happily.
I don't know that you'll be able to save scum, but you definitely, you might be able to save scum on offline mode. I don't know.
There's always a way to save scum.
I have managed to quit scum with
Windrose?
Slay the Spire.
Oh.
Like, wait, I'm about to quit. I can quit. If I'm about to lose, fuck. Okay, I'm going to quit and try it again. I'm going to quit and try it again.
And that works? It doesn't save?
If you quit mid-match, if you just shut the game down mid-match, it starts over at the beginning of the match.
The equivalent of turning the power off of the console.
Which was always my favorite. This is something that none of you guys were privy to, but some of my favorite memories were when we were playing
Borderlands.
When at the end game of Borderlands, and Pilot Chris didn't want to lose money because you lost half of your money when you died.
Every time you died.
And at the end of the game, and we would be playing together, we would be fighting together, or something would happen.
We were doing like one of the big raid bosses.
That's what it was. And then we would let Chris die. We would do something so Chris would die, and he'd scream and then unplug his machine.
I remember like he'd go flying off the edge and be like, "Woo!" disconnected.
He would disconnect midair. He would literally unplug his machine so that he could preserve his money. And we had a lot Those were some fun nights. There was one night in particular that I remember that we did that over and over and over again. Had so much fun. God damn! You made me quit again. Chris, it's not real money, Chris. I don't want to lose it. It's not real. Yeah. So you can do the same thing with Slay the Spire, but
Okay.
it's not the same. So, Windrose, can't recommend it enough currently,
Okay.
and all I want to do is play it. Yeah.
In my cart, continue to payment, agree to the terms, purchase.
You're gonna might have to do some research on how, but at least you should go
Okay.
in.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you for your purchase.
Good.
I will play this on the plane.
Good. Tell me everything, and I'm hoping that you don't hate it because I really would like to. I think that this would be a really fun game for
I
you
think
and me to play.
the one thing I'm iffy about is like how much crafting and how much running around hitting trees with a stick do I have to do? Because
Early game, quite a bit.
I'm okay doing that for a while, but at a certain point, I want to stop hitting trees with a stick.
No. At a certain point, you're really not going to, because you're going to end up having enough. Once you build your base and you will have enough resources where you don't really need to do a lot of that.
Okay.
You know, the early stages, it's very resource intensive because you're going to need to build,
Also,
axes and shovels and
also
picks
importantly,
and base.
There's no like there's food, but there's no hunger, right? There's no hunger or thirst.
There's no hunger or thirst. That being said, if you are quote unquote hungry, which happens when you die or you go to sleep, you wake up hungry. The only thing that happens is that your health amount of health that you have, amount of vitality that you have, I believe is halved, and your stamina is halved. So all you have to do is eat anything, and you're back up to normal. And then you could also eat good foods that you craft that actually have buffs to them, which increase those stats more. So you don't ever want to fight if you're hungry.
That's a nice balance. That's a good balance.
You're not having to. Let's put it this way. You may have to eat at some point because you're hungry. I haven't lived long enough to get hungry.
Okay.
I will die before that happens, usually. So,
okay,
who knows?
That sounds good. That sounds up my alley.
I think, I'm pretty sure that there probably is a hunger mechanic, but it's not anything
Well,
that
it's not your hunger ticks down over time and you need to keep eating. That constant guillotine over your head, that's what I generally don't like about the survival crafting games, is that there's this ticking clock of like hunger, thirst, warmth, and like whatever, but it always ticks down over time. And it's like, oh no, that management I always find really frustrating because I feel like I can't disconnect from that. I'm always worried about hunger, so I can't think about the other systems in the game.
There may very well be a hunger management ticking down. If you have your hunger tick down, you don't die. Your health, as far as I know, is halved.
Yeah. Okay.
And it ticks down slow enough that I've been playing for a number of hours and never come across it. Also, you eat a lot because your buffs only last for, I think, 15 minutes that you get from food. So pretty much whenever you're getting into combat, the first thing you're doing is you're eating something.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's maybe Maybe there is, but I haven't encountered it, or it hasn't been a problem yet for me.
Good to
Just
hear.
die more. Just die more. You'll be fine.
just jump off a cliff. Go drown.
No, there's no fall damage on top of that.
Okay, then just go drown. Walk into the
Yes,
ocean.
you can absolutely drown. If you run out of stamina in the water, you drown
Okay.
a lot.
If I'm hungry, I'll just take a long walk off a short pier.
Yep, you cannot swim to the next island. I found that out.
Okay.
You need the boat.
Okay.
All right. What did you play?
I finished Pragmata.
Mm-hmm.
That game continued to be like up until the end. It starts introducing a little bit a new challenge in the end, which changes up the gameplay in another fun way. You have the hacking node gets corrupted. And so some squares will force you to pause on them as you go. And you have to do an action in combat in order to clear that. So initially, when you start, first you have to hack, then you can shoot. But then as you get farther into the game towards the end, it introduces this new mechanic where you have to shoot, then you can hack, then you can shoot again. And so it kind of adds a step to the whole process in a way that I think is clever and that does a good job keeping the whole hacking experience fresh towards the end of the game.
FYI, still here doing laundry. It's
Oh my God, you and the laundry.
What? I do laundry once a week on Sundays.
But yeah, it's mechanically the combat still the high point all through the end. But boy, the story gets goofy.
Yeah.
It goes from what feels like kind of a grounded sci-fi story because you're like these repair guys who come to the moon because this big corporation's moon colony called for help. So it isn't even like we lost communication with the colony and we have to go figure out what went wrong. No, these guys called us for assistance and we're going there for assistance. We called the cable guy and the cable guy is coming over. But then when you get there, things obviously go wrong and you find yourself caught up in a whole bunch of killer robots trying to take you down. But that's a kind of a grounded sci-fi conceit because you're just a guy. You're called not under any mysterious circumstances to this moon facility. It looks relatively realistic, but as the game goes on, it gets fucking anime as hell.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking full on tentacle monsters the size of a building. It goes from grounded and relatively small scale to just fuck it. We're throwing everything out the window. We're just going full. It jumps the shark completely. It jumps the shark so much that it enters orbit.
Really?
And that's not necessarily a terrible thing because the story is not the high point. I think the relationship between Diana and Hugh is a high point and the combat is a high point. And so there's that remains. In the chat, AC Wraith says, no tentacles around my android daughter. You don't have to worry about that. The tentacles are always just like the size of trains and they're just being used to crush you. That's it. The good tentacles. But yeah,
I want to change the name of the show right now to The Good Tentacles.
It just gets so wild that at a certain point I just have to laugh at it. But then the absolute ending kind of a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, I'm having fun playing this game. This is a really good, surprisingly arcadey game. It's people talk about how it feels like a 360 era game. And I think that's because it doesn't have a lot of the trappings of prestige gaming that a lot of single player narrative driven games try to have now, like God of War or The Last of Us, um, or even Saros that I'll talk about in a second. Like they have these trappings of cutscenes and dramatic music and all this stuff, and like we want you to take this seriously. And this has all that, but it's in service of like just a super arcadey game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fun remains, even if the story kind of goes off the rails and ends on a bit of a downer note. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we're done.
Does it
Huh.
lend itself to it being to having a sequel?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. And Pragmata 2, I imagine, will be awesome because this is a perfect example of the kind of game that the first one comes out and everyone's like, oh, this game's really awesome. But it's the sequel where they kind of figure out exactly what to do, exactly the scope, how to twist the mechanics in the right ways, like Uncharted 2, like Assassin's Creed 2.
Mm-hmm.
The sequel is the one that will sort of take this to the next level and actually popularize it as, oh, this is an ongoing series to keep an eye on.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you finished it because now you can go back to Crimson Desert.
No, I can't. Not yet.
Why not?
Because Saros came out this week.
Okay.
Saros is the new game from Housemarque, Sony
Mm-hmm.
first party game. They're the developers of Returnal, which was one of the launch titles for the PS5 way back in 2020. And Returnal, to this day, I will say it's the only roguelike that I unequivocally love. It's the only roguelike that I never got bored of. It's the only roguelike I've ever finished. Like I platinumed Returnal. And so I've been
Mm-hmm.
very excited for Saros. And I'm happy to say Saros lives up to my expectations of just what a sequel to Returnal would do. Not a sequel, but like spiritual sequel.
Right.
But they've also made some tweaks to the structure of it that I think are really interesting and kind of speak to a way of making the roguelike structure more mainstream and more approachable.
Okay.
So in Returnal, basically it was a roguelike. You went out on a run, your weapons could be upgraded on that run, but then if you died, everything got reset and you came back. There was some persistence in your weapon upgrades, but for the most part, you start, you go, if you die, you reset. That's it. In this game, like any good roguelite, you earn permanent currency in your runs, and you can use that permanent currency to upgrade your character back at base. So you are, like any RPG, constantly leveling up your guns, your health, and the speed at which you get experience. So you're always leveling up your character, and so that makes each run it almost like an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Every run kind of feels like a little bit of grinding in an RPG because I'm just slowly raising my level cap.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting is the all the upgrades are done on a node screen. It's I forget what the specific term is it for, but it's like oh fuck, it's a Final Fantasy X. I don't know if you know that, but instead of having upgrade paths, you have a tree that splits off into branches. And so
Right.
you're constantly choosing this node on this branch, this node on this branch, and what branch do I want to go down? And you
Right.
can choose to go down both branches, but that just takes more resources. But it's a node tree that keeps splitting. But at a certain point in that tree, that progression is capped. And it says you have to beat this boss to continue.
Okay.
And what that means is there's a cap to how much you can upgrade your character. But that also kind of gives you a goal to work towards.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I look at that cap And I go, okay, well, I keep doing this run, and I keep getting experience, and I keep leveling up every node here. It's not until I fill that node section, and then I think, okay, now I should be strong enough to beat that boss. And so the sense of repetition, I think, is lessened by kind of having that goal, having that that objective to kind of show my progression through the game. I'm
Right.
not just doing these loops endlessly with no sense of progression, no sense of forward momentum, no sense of things changing. I can see I have to beat the boss to continue. But until I do that, until I keep playing this section of the game over and over again, trying to beat that boss, I will upgrade all of these nodes around it. And if I beat the boss before I fill out that upgrade tree, it feels like I've kind of like I've done good, right?
Hmm.
To have that space, like, oh, this space of the upgrade tree is dedicated to the next boss. This space of the upgrade tree is dedicated to the next boss. That's a sense of progression and a sense of it like I said, I
It
think it
doesn't when
lessens.
you die on a run, did you go back to before you beat that boss or just to the beginning of that section where you had to beat the boss to progress?
You go back to the beginning of that section. So like
Okay.
each boss is like its own level. It's
Okay.
again, it's less roguelike and more because in any other roguelike, you start from level 1 and you have to
Mhm.
go beat the boss at level 1, then go through level 2, beat the boss at level 2, go to level 3, beat the boss at level 3. In Soros, you go to level 1, you beat the boss at level 1. You can replay level 1, but then you get a checkpoint at level 2 and you can choose to start at level 2 to beat the boss at level 2. Once you do
Got it.
that, you get a checkpoint to start at level 3 and you can keep going from there.
So you're not completely lost. It's not like it starts all over and you have to go to the very beginning of the game to start over. You and play through and grind through all the stuff you already did once in
Yes.
order to get to where you needed to go to get to that objective that you were trying to beat when you died.
Yes. Which goes to what AC Wraith says. He's the game loop isn't worth playing on its own, but at least number go up. No, the game loop is worth playing on its own. But what I can't stand about roguelikes is playing the same section again and again and again.
Mhm.
That's why I don't like starting from zero. Dead Cells is a really great game. It feels good to play. But at a certain point, I just got bored playing that level 1 over and over and over again. It doesn't matter how good the game is if I can only play one section of the game.
Mhm.
I need new material. Uh, and this does a good job, I think, of all of this is to say that the game does a good job of taking the normally kind of punishing and super difficult roguelike structure and turning it into something more mainstream, turning it into something more approachable. It's not just here's a roguelite structure where you have uh, permanent upgrades, but actually uh, using the roguelike structure per level instead of per game so that I don't have
Mhm.
to play through the whole game every single time, but I'm playing through the whole level. It's like an old arcade game
Mhm.
where you have to play through level 1. If you don't beat level 1, you have to play through level 1 all over again. So there's no mid mission checkpoint like a
But
lot of
once
modern games.
you've
But
played
once you
through that
beat
and
level
once you've
1,
beaten it, yeah,
you go on to level 2.
right.
And it's very classically arcade in a way that, like I said, I think it's just more approachable. It's a way of taking this usually punishing genre and, like I said, making it mainstream.
Mhm.
But also, Saros is a really cool game to play. It is fast, it is fun, it feels so good. Going from Pragmata to Saros was a bit of a shock because Pragmata is a much slower paced game.
It
And
seems very
Pragmata,
lumbering compared to the movement on this, just from what I'm seeing on the
oh yeah,
screen, is that this feels much more dynamic and fluid and kind of zippy, so to speak.
it is very, very zippy. Uh, and that makes it nice. A lot of the enemy patterns revolve around you blocking blue projectiles, which charges up one of your abilities, and you can then use that ability in battle. But so that means instead of always dodging projectiles, sometimes I want to go into the projectile but put up my shield so that I absorb them. So it's not just dodge and shoot, dodge and shoot. It's dodge some projectiles, absorb other projectiles, then shoot, then dodge. So there's just a lot more to think about per second in a battle.
Hmm.
But what I really love about it is the atmosphere, the tone, the story. This is pure cosmic sci-fi horror just injected into my veins. One of the like Lovecraft is the usual go-to example of cosmic horror author. But before there was even a term cosmic horror, one of the like foundational writers was a guy named Robert Chamberlain, who wrote The King in Yellow. And The King in Yellow is known for talking about the city of Carcosa. This is something that True Detective season 1 dabbled in, of like using references to Carcosa to imply big ancient evil gods. The planet that you are on is called Carcosa. So the story is that this naturally super fantastic resource that provides unlimited energy was found on the planet Carcosa. This company called Solari sent an expedition team there to start a colony. Then they sent a second expedition team there to start mining operations. Then they sent a third expedition team there to, I forget what. But they haven't heard from any of those teams. So they sent a fourth expedition team to find out what the fuck is going on, because we haven't heard a peep from all those three other teams and the thousands of people that we sent. You start like in the middle of things. You wake up in mid-run, and then when you die, you are resurrected at your base through means you don't understand. But immediately you meet other, like the survivors of your group. So you are part of this fourth expedition team, but like it's not told linearly. Your team is already fucked up by the time you start the game, and you're trying to figure out what happened to them. So as you explore, you're finding audio logs and text logs that kind of give backstory about your team, some of your teammates, the other colonists, and it just oozes. One of the best things about Returnal was the art direction. That game just had a level of like visual cosmic scale horror that I haven't seen in any other medium. It just did it so well. And this game is leaning into that all the way. The monsters you fight are awesome. The setting really emphasizes that like this is some sort of ancient civilization that you don't understand. There are statues of like people ripping chests open. There are pillars, which are like, here's a giant stone pillar, but at the bottom, suddenly it looks like it turns into a bunch of bones, and then it turns into a pillar again. So just oh yeah, you can see it there. Like just bones and fleshy tendrils are like a central architectural design choice. And so I love the aesthetic. I love the design. It plays really well. I am not frustrated by the dying and repeating. I think it has struck a good balance of making me want to keep playing. And every time I die, I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta play that whole level again. But this time, my health is higher. This time, I've unlocked a higher tier of weapon. so I'll do better. But also this time I've learned more of the boss's move set, and so I think I know how to better fight against it. It's taking the elements of Souls-like games that I like, the elements of Returnal that I liked, with just the elements of fiction that I like, and wrapping it all up in a really satisfying package.
It looks like a fun game. I don't know that I'd love it, but it looks like a fun game.
It's hard as hell, and like, ooh, you gotta lock in. You gotta focus. Like, okay, I'm doing good. And oh, suddenly you blink, and I just got wrecked. I got hit by 3 projectiles that I should have dodged because I blinked. Don't look away. Don't ever look away.
AC Ray says that's why I appreciate variety unlocks.
I think any ability that you give me is not enough to compensate for playing the same section of a game over again. Because I'm still fighting the same enemies, still seeing the same environment. The enemies still act the same. It doesn't matter what moves I have, the enemies are still the same. So that's why I don't like most roguelikes. But Saros is not most roguelikes.
So, what are you going to be playing on the... Are you going to be playing Saros on the plane, or are you going to be playing Windrose on the game?
I'll be playing
the plane.
Windrose because Saros is a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh, okay.
I will try, once I'm in Florida, to stream the game from my PlayStation to the Florida house. That didn't work last time I tried it, but I tweaked a couple settings of our internet, so I want to try it again, see if it works. But also, like, it's not really a game meant for streaming. That's a game where a little dip in frame rate is gonna fuck you over big time.
I can see that. Given the dynamicism of the movements and dynamicism of the fights, even a tiny bit of lag I can see being absolutely fatal.
So for the Rogue Ally, I picked up Windrose. I'll play that. I picked up another game that I heard a lot of good things about called Mini Shoot Adventures. And what was the other one I got? Oh, Titanium Court. I'm fascinated to play Titanium Court because what I've heard says it's a mixture roguelike match 3 tower defense, but also none of those, but also all of those.
Okay.
I've heard that, like, it's the Matrix. No one can be told what Titanium Court is. You have to see it for yourself.
AC Ray says Mini Shoot Adventures is awesome.
That's what I've heard. So I want to check that out.
So any other games that you played?
Nope. Saros is the big one.
All right.
Finished Pragmata. I want to go back so badly to Crimson Desert, but I won't be able to for the next week.
Not this week. Sorry.
Which sucks because in the news I can talk about there was another big patch. There was a big patch last week. There's a big patch this week.
Sorry. No, it hurts. It physically hurts.
But yeah, that's all I played this week.
All right. Well, then let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie and Nicola. And our first item is so many items.
I want to know about this Resident Evil news story. That seems very relevant to me, and I've not heard about this before.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then let me get to where my banner is. Yeah, if you have an LG OLED TV, there is a thing. You have that. You actually do have an LG OLED. Okay, all right. So they may not play well together. This is something that was sent to me by someone that said that if you have an LG OLED, and you're playing Resident Evil Requiem, at a certain points in the game, your TV may just shut down. So there so the firing the Requiem, which is a powerful, and I'm reading this out of wherever I got it from, I can't remember. A
Yeah.
powerful Magnum assault revolver in the game. It causes your OLED TV to restart. And this is something that has been reported throughout Reddit and is out there streaming about. So it isn't necessarily limited to just that specific manufacturer or even that specific game, but it's becoming evident because of this thing that happens when you fire the Requiem. So, let's see where it says a user on Reddit on the r/LG OLED Reddit subreddit posted videos of their LG G5 OLED power cycling while playing Chronos: The New Dawn. So this is also happening in those games. Essentially, whenever you are having games that are showing a fiery explosion or something that has a big flash of light that is demanding a lot of energy for that moment, they think that it might have to do with the power supply. But these intense muzzle flashes of the Requiem across the screen, because it has bright white that consumes more energy on OLEDs than other things, the drain on the power supply is causing the TVs to power cycle.
Huh.
And
Okay.
and it's more essentially it's drawing more power than the power supplies can provide during that moment, and that makes the TV shut down and restart. Okay.
I've got video.
You've got video. All right. So
Oh, it happened right away. Okay. So as you can
instantly
see,
it goes dead.
as you can see, she's loading the big Magnum weapon. So putting
Right.
in 6 shots, aims it. You can see the
And the
red dot of
screen
the TV,
instantly goes black.
and it's
And the game
black
restart
for
and
a
the game
while,
right,
and
because it has to
then
power
it comes
cycle.
back. But it comes back like right where you were. So it's
Okay,
not
so it
like the
doesn't
game is
actually
being
shut down the
suspended.
game, which makes
It's
sense
just the
because
TV.
it's not shutting down the console, it's just shutting down the TV for a second for while its power supply is or whatever it is, causing it to freak out and comes back. It's essentially like closing your eyes for a second or two. So this is
Yeah.
a thing, like I said, it's not just happening with Requiem, it's been happening with other games. So the Reddit user Yorgo332 was among the first to document the problem that's occurring with Resident Evil Requiem, but there are other Reddit users that allege that LG has known about this defect for years, but because it didn't happen all the time, it didn't happen with all games, they've done nothing about it.
Yeah, it's just a
Um,
known shippable.
right.
It's
They've mentioned if you go back apparently in Reddit, you can find listings about it in Borderlands 3, Halo Master Chief Collection, and Rocket League. So if
huh.
you have
So okay, this is
an LG TV, you may
not
want
just
to be aware.
LG. This is the LG C1
Hmm.
TV. So this is the
Right.
2021 model of their C series OLED. I believe I have a B series TV,
Hmm.
and this didn't happen when although I also didn't shoot the Requiem all that much. But yeah, it's C1 LG OLED TV specifically.
Yeah, in fact, other users did claim that their G5 TVs didn't have the power cycling problem.
Mhm.
But it all comes back to the power supply. So be aware that if you have an LG OLED TV that is in, an older model that specifically, and I think it's because Requiem has that gun that can just make it happen all the time, as opposed to it happening in other games where it was only a one and done or a unique situation. This is happening every single time you fire that gun,
Yeah.
and you can actually make it happen. It's repeatable. on demand. You can make it happen. So just be aware that if that is happening to you, it is because of your TV, and there's nothing you can do other than going and getting a new OLED. Sorry.
Don't shoot the Requiem. Don't be a coward.
Yeah, just
Use
hit him with
your regular pistol. Use the knives. Come on.
it. Hit him with a bat.
Yeah. Although AC Wraith said, you can't make fun of me for updates anymore. We're starting with 3-week-old news. I had never heard of this before. How
Yeah,
old is
that's
this?
why. It was posted to the news site that I found it on, which I can't see where it was, but it was posted to the news site where I found it on Sunday of last week after we did the show. So this is 3-week-old news, but by the time it got to me, it was 3 weeks later. Sorry. But yes, this is a thing. And I figured that given Requiem just came out, I know that Nick is playing it. I know a lot of other people are playing it. You're probably playing, a lot of you out there are playing this game. If you have an older LG TV, this is kind of a PSA. It's not just you, it's everybody at this point. So that was my big, story that you were concerned with, was LG TVs.
Yeah, well,
It
I
doesn't
saw that.
it doesn't kill your TV. It's not the end. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not like it actually destroys your television.
No.
But it is disruptive, I'm certain. If you're firing off that gun, you're doing it for a reason, like trying to stay alive. So
Yeah. He says, you don't hear about my updates either, and then claim it was the same as the prior week.
who are you? I don't know who you are. AC Raif? Do I know you? Have we never met?
New number.
Hi.
Who dis?
Welcome, new listener, AC Wraith.
But I will say, what does occasionally happen with my TV
Mhm.
is the sound will cut out. And I have to just go back to the home screen, then choose the PlayStation input again, and all the sound comes back.
Right. I'm having a lot of issues actually on my Alienware laptop that I'm looking at right now, with Windrose. That there are a lot of little okay, that's not working right. Better restart this. Like it's starting to do strange things with the audio. Like all of a sudden it's like right, 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 right. It's like, okay, gotta restart. Start it over.
That's just the dodo bird is following you. It's stalking
I
you.
wish. No. Recently, I had it in full screen mode
Said
at
hi.
work on my widescreen monitor, and then I decided to fire it up this morning, and it was still scaled to the widescreen
No.
monitor,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't rescale to the screen on the laptop, so I had to stop it, restart it. It's early access. Things happen.
Yeah.
Give it
Look,
a little grace.
game development is hard.
If it was easy, we'd all be doing it.
Yeah. And you know who else is facing the fact that game development is hard?
Mhm.
Xbox.
Mm.
So
Tell
Microsoft
me
had
more.
their quarterly report
Mhm.
for was it third quarter 2026? That doesn't make any sense. But they had their financial
Yeah, it
results.
does. Yeah, it does.
Third quarter of 2026. I know financial results.
No, it's got to be third quarter of 2025, not
Yeah.
2026.
Sorry, this week in gaming, I think there's a typo in your article.
Yeah.
But anyways, so gaming revenue declined by 7% compared to the same quarter, but it was about a 33% drop in hardware.
Right.
Which is also a little crazy because that's compared to the previous year where it was also a 33% drop, where it was also, so it's like, oh yeah, 33, that's bad, but it's like it is a consistent step down every single time. But remember, that's hardware specifically, which they have all but given up on, it seemed.
Also not
content
entirely
and
their
sales.
fault. Yeah, not entirely their fault. It's a combination of the shortage of chips, tariffs all that stuff all comes into play. They had to raise their prices because of tariffs. They're having issues with raising prices because of the cost of RAM. That is in the third quarter of 2025, which I'm assuming is that's what they meant.
Mhm.
That is just starting to come into play at that point with the cost. Well, the tariffs started it actually started in that third quarter. The third quarter is when they started raising their prices. So now we're
Yeah.
actually starting to see the drop because of the price, which had got to give grace where grace is due. They didn't have anything to do with the fact that the US government created these insane amount of tariffs for imported um, uh, electronics goods. Even if it was an American company, it's manufactured in other countries, they were subject to tariffs. And as soon as those tariffs happened, they raised their prices. They had to. Because they were looking at what? 30% tariffs on top of whatever, a 30% increase in tariffs of whatever they had. So I know that there's a certain amount of tariffs that they were already paying. It was a 30% increase, I believe, depending on where they were made. I think they were, wasn't it 30% on China? And I believe that they actually have them manufactured in China.
Maybe. A lot of manufacturing was in China.
Yeah. So bottom line, not entirely their fault.
Not entirely their fault, but also
because of
somehow still
other stuff.
perfectly in line with the falls from previous quarters. So consistent.
Right.
But it's also worth to note, Asha Sharma took over, I think midway through this quarter. So all their initiatives, all their let's lower the price of Game Pass that we did 2 weeks ago, none of that is factored into this.
No, we're in the second quarter. We are in she took over in Q2 2026. So this is 2 quarters back from that.
Yeah.
We haven't heard about Q4 2025. She didn't pick up until Q2 of 2026.
No, I think this is Q5 for 2025. I think it is. I will have to check on it, but yeah. AC Way said if they lost a third before and then they lost a third of what they have less, they're losing less.
They are losing less.
That's true.
Thank God for that loss in 2024. Because otherwise they'd be losing more. True. But that
none of their initiatives to turn Xbox around are reflected in this. And this does kind of just show that that whole it continues to sink even after buying Activision, which was supposed to lift Xbox, and yet somehow it didn't. Who could have foreseen a mega merger not working out well for someone?
What quarter did Call of Duty come out on Game Pass?
I guess it depends on.
I believe that was that quarter.
I think it depends on what Call of Duty.
Well, the one that they were the most recent one, the one that came out in Game Pass that was going to change everything.
Oh yeah,
Day
that was
Game Pass.
Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Yeah, that came out November last year.
Okay, so that's Q4 of 2020.
Okay, yeah. So according to Microsoft's website,
so this is before.
This earning report is for fiscal year 26 Q3, which is
hasn't happened.
How do you? Yeah. How did they fucking rank fiscal years?
No,
Microsoft Corp announced
2026
the following.
Q3 hasn't happened yet. Not even no.
No, it's not Q3. Microsoft Corp today announced the following results for the quarter ended March 31st, 2026. So this is for the
Q1
first quarter
of 2026.
Has compared to the corresponding period of last fiscal year.
So this is Q1 2026, not Q4 2026.
No, but for some reason they call it fiscal year 26 Q3. Microsoft is they're cooking the books.
That's
They're
weird.
they're
No,
doing something to cook their
that
books. They
doesn't.
are.
I mean, it
Yeah,
all
he
depends
says
on when they're.
the report in the article says first quarter, January 1st to March 31st
Right.
of
That's Q1
2026. That's
2026.
Q1, but on their website they say Q3. Look, Microsoft
If they
has to
can't even get
hide.
their quarters right, that says something
Look,
about their accounting department.
larger story, Microsoft beat earnings in like almost every category except Xbox. And guess what happened? The stock went down
Right.
because their spending on AI and CapEx increased like 50 million more than what they expected. So it's a little like, oh boy, this thing, it's like it's eating away at your
It is.
profit. Like you're doing well, but this is like a fucking anchor around
It
you.
is. It is. It's a
Yeah,
very good
everything
way to put
says
it.
Q3 from Microsoft. It's not just the article. Microsoft is doing some funky accounting. I'm gonna say this here. I have no evidence. Microsoft is doing some financially suspicious things to try to hide their AI spending, or to try to make the whole company look a bit more financially responsible than they really are.
The revenues are in the actual quarter, but the expenditures are projected to the future quarters.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? I don't know. Bottom line,
Bottom line,
these
Xbox
are
not
numbers
doing
that
well.
were right, but these are also numbers that were under the purview of Phil Spencer when it was all about Game Pass. Game Pass is a very different beast now, and Asha has made moves already that has said we're looking at this entirely differently.
I think next quarter, the thing to actually look at is their content and services revenue. Because I think
Mhm.
it was down 7% this quarter. But that's Game Pass. And so with the current price cut to Game Pass, we should see that increase. Hardware sales, that will keep going down. Like
Mhm.
the whatever they put out their Q2 report from March, April, May, like hardware will continue to be down because guess what? Xbox doesn't have any new hardware. It's the same hardware that continues to not sell. So
Right.
the hardware will continue to fall. It's the services and content that you need to watch for. That will be an important indicator of whether or not the things Asha has been doing are actually starting to turn the ship around.
So speaking of Asha, and I will let you all
Oh,
know.
hang on. Microsoft's fiscal year ends on June 30th to align with enterprise software purchasing patterns, the education sector's budgeting cycles, and to avoid the busy calendar year each holiday season. I looked it up. Thank you, AC Ray.
Okay,
That is good to know because
that is crazy.
yeah, it's crazy that
It's a mind
they
fuck.
Microsoft measures time differently from the rest of us.
Yeah. So there was a very, very thorough and interesting article on Sam Altman
Oh yeah,
by
from the Wall
Rowan
Street.
Farrow. No, the New Yorker. It
Okay,
was
yeah.
written by Rowan Farrow, who is Mia Farrow and Frank Sinatra's son, who is known for being a fantastic investigative journalist, like a truly fantastic investigative journalist.
Yeah.
It it's amazing to me how this profile of Sam Altman has really nobody really knows about it. That
Oh
it
no,
was written by Rowan Farrow, and
I've
it's
seen a lot of
like,
people talking about it.
oh, good.
Sam
Well,
Altman is a fucking sociopath.
oh, it's a sociopath, right? So I was reading it about what, and I didn't get all the way through it because it is long as shit. But Sam Altman, but the first like the first I would say three quarter, the first I would say quarter of it discusses very specifically conversations that were made between Sam Altman and Asha Sharma.
Hmm.
And given that this was written before Asha Sharma became the head of Xbox, it's very telling now to read it with this new frame around Asha. I will let you know this right now, because it is behind a paywall and I have access to it because I pay for the paywall. I am going to post it into our Discord so you all can read it. So Nick, you can read it, because I think it will give you interesting insight, because it, like I said, it was an article that was written before Asha became what she is now. So it's,
did it say
you get a
what
little
they
bit of a
talked
different
about?
perspective. Yeah.
Okay.
About AI.
Could you? Okay. I mean,
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was reading it like, oh, now
like
it
that's
seems like it's
not.
framed. Everything's framed in a different light about what Asha is doing.
That's also not surprising because she worked in an AI sector of Microsoft.
Microsoft and
Microsoft was OpenAI's like sole partner for a long time. So
exactly.
naturally, it makes sense that the guy in charge of AI would talk to the lady in charge of AI at Microsoft.
And the focus of the article isn't about Asha. It's really about
Yes.
Sam.
Yeah.
So you're only kind of hearing about what was said between Asha and Sam from the perspective of talking about who Sam is as a person and what he does.
Okay.
But it also does have an aspect of it that it's like, from our point of view of now knowing who Asha is and what she's doing, gives a little insight of, hey, what's in Asha's head about what's supposed to be happening, what she might actually have in her head about what Game Pass and what Xbox is going to be doing, given her conversations with Sam in the past. So I'm going to post, I will post it as soon as I'm done with the show.
Okay.
I will post it for a limited time, because of course this is not, this is paywalled stuff, and I'm going to put it in our Discord so that you can actually read the entire article about how Sam Altman
I've also
is a
read
fucking sociopath.
Yeah. I've also read a lot of summaries of it from other websites reporting on the reporting.
Right. Reporting on the reporting is interesting and nice, and it's a way to get the Cliff's notes of what's going on. But in order to really appreciate the broad spectrum of information that is being provided to you, you have to kind of read the whole thing. So, especially from our point of view, from a gaming point of view, at that point, Asha Sharma was just a name.
Yeah, she was
head of AI at Microsoft. Now
Yeah.
we see her in an entirely different light, because she's bringing that mentality into Xbox, which is affecting us directly. Anyway,
in the chat,
so-
Easter Wraith also has a comprehensive list of software vendors and their year-end dates, and he says that fiscal years vary quite a bit, which I didn't know that.
AC Ray, do you want to be my accountant? Seriously,
I know that
love
the
you.
fiscal
I love that
year
you can do that.
didn't match up with the calendar year, but I thought all companies used the same fiscal year because
you can.
businesses like consistency. But I guess if you're a corporation, time means different things to you.
And it does. It makes sense. I mean, if you look at it the way that that he explained it, Microsoft's fiscal year ends on June 30th to align with enterprise software purchasing patterns. The educational sector, which is major with Microsoft, their budgeting cycles and on, that's like they have to align themselves to school years and school budgeting cycles, not to the calendar or everybody else. So yeah, that does make sense. And that's why you can have your fiscal year end on any day of the year that you like, because it's really applicable to the business that you're in and who your customers are.
I wonder if that then works against Xbox, because I saw a measure of like Xbox sales, a graph that someone put together. And it was like measuring Xbox sales per quarter for the past several years. And you could see a W pattern that aligned with end of year spending for Christmas. It's low, spikes in December, low, spikes in December, just consistently. And so Xbox is a like public facing entertainment consumer business, but it's part of Microsoft that has an entirely different customer base, an entirely different. the parent company has a different fiscal year than the subsidiary.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if Xbox is kind of screwed over from a financial standpoint in that regard.
Possibly. I mean, if it wasn't difficult, you wouldn't be able to get a master's in it. And
Yeah.
that's what accounting is. It's really its own it is a science, and it is its own science. And honestly, it is a science for every single company. That's why it is you usually see promotions from within the company in your financial officers simply because every single company is its own special snowflake, accounting wise and financially. There's certain obvious uniform laws that go from one to the other, but every company, really, as far as its nuts and bolts are concerned, all individual. So you hit the next one. I have to step away for a second.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
listening. I'm listening. I'm listening, and I will chime in when I am prompted.
Then I will. Okay, I'll do a short one for now. Crimson Desert got another patch. Last week we talked about a big patch that changed combat and I think resource management. This patch is something that a lot of the, frankly, psychopathic players have been asking for. The people who have already beaten Crimson Desert, who put like 250 hours into the game that's been out for a month, what they've found is that when you get to
How
the
many
game,
hours are actually in a month?
I don't
Can
know.
you calculate that? Calculate that for me. AC Wraith, calculate how many hours are in a month and figure out how much time those people are actually sleeping between
24
gameplay.
times 30 is 720. So 720 hours
People
in a
need
month.
to be employed. I'm sorry. I just said that.
But one of the things they complained about is, oh, the open world is empty because I can keep running around the open world, but all of the enemy encampments are gone. I've killed all of the bosses. I've resolved all of the wars. There's nothing else to fight. And so what this new patch does is it basically allows you to repopulate the world with bad guys. You can repopulate the enemy encampments as you come across them. You can replay boss battles. You will get new loot from them, but you won't actually lose consumables from them. So you can kind of spend all you want to beat the boss, and you'll still get valuable loot from it. You can also re-trigger wars. So sections of the game that were under big conflict that then gets resolved after you win the war, you can re-trigger that war and set that area of the world back into a state of conflict to go and kill a bunch of enemies. So yeah, the game that is not something that I will likely ever engage with. Personally, I was more excited for the last patch because that added things that I would interact with. But it's kind of impressive and important that they added this in there. They are patching the game at an incredible rate, adding new quality of life features, adding just various other features. Their patchwork is like No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk level of patching, even though the game launched better than either of those two games did. But yeah, Pearl Abyss is kind of the new, we're going to set a standard of expectation of how we patch our game that no other company will live up to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Now, something you said that made me instantly go, I will never play this game. You can lose consumables in this game
Well,
from losing fights.
if you use them, then they're lost.
Right.
But
Can you lose
this
them
patch
from
does?
losing a battle?
No. If you're in a fight and you use consumables, those consumables disappear, right? Because they're
Right.
consumables.
Right.
With this replay function, if you replay a boss, as you're replaying that boss that you already defeated, you will not lose consumables. So you can use
Oh,
what you have, but once the
okay.
fight is over, you'll get those consumables back. At least
Got
as
it.
far as
Okay.
I understand. And
All right.
so that's kind of the game's way of saying, hey, you already beat this boss. Just kind of, you can keep grinding it. Just
Right.
fuck with them a little bit. It's
Okay.
fun.
That makes
Have
sense.
some fun with it.
I don't hate that.
Yeah. No, that's
Um,
a very player friendly feature, not a player unfriendly feature.
yeah. God, I wish I'd done this earlier because we were talking about the segue that you used to go into the Xbox thing was
Oh,
making games is hard.
yeah.
Yeah, making games is hard. Got some really bad news that hurt me in my heart. Spiders, the makers of Greedfall, which is a game I loved, Techromancer, they have closed down, which I find surprising because normally you see a studio closing down after a game has released. Spiders hasn't released a game in a very, very long time.
No, they just came out with Greedfall 2.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because I'm surprised that I missed that. I love Spiders. I loved Greedfall. I hated the ending, but I
Oh
loved
wait.
Greedfall.
Yeah, Greedfall 2, The Dying World. Oh, is a 2026 role-playing game. Was published in early access September 24 with a full release in March 26.
Oh, okay. I guess they did. All right, my bad. I did not realize that Greedfall 2 had came out. That being said, maybe that was their problem. So Spiders has
Yes, it
officially
is
closed down.
currently sitting at mixed reviews on Steam.
So, they are out of Paris. So the Parisian studio and their parent company Nacon filed for insolvency earlier this year because they missed a loan repayment. So this process does normally, under French law, allow companies that are struggling to get back on their feet or, like not doing so great to freeze their liabilities for a period that they call the observation period that can last up to 18 months so that it gives them a chance to restructure their debt. It's a little bit like our Chapter 11 bankruptcy. But Spiders did officially receive notification that they are actually being liquidated. So they are shutting down. Even regardless of what happens with Nacon, Spiders is going to be no more. Quote, "We're going to cut straight to the chase so you're not left wondering. After a long period without clear answers, we've received confirmation the Spiders is being liquidated." This came from an update from the studio that was posted on Facebook. Quote, "What does it mean? This means the company as a whole no longer exists. We'll cease our operations immediately. The planned DLC will release via Nacon. And then, well, that's it. We're sorry that it's come to this and would like to thank each and every one of you for your support over the years. If you have any questions or run into any issues with your games, please contact Nacon directly, as we'll no longer be able to reply." So they shut them down hard.
Yeah,
And
and
in
like
this Nacon restructuring, essentially, Spiders officially, as of whenever they released that, which was, I think, earlier this week, like Monday, like Sunday or Monday of last week, Sunday of last week, Monday of this week, gone. Doesn't exist. No more.
they're also like, as AC Wraith says in the chat, they're blaming Nacon that a union is basically saying Spiders was targeted to be shut down, that Nacon itself is like facing issues of debt and restructuring and insolvency, and that Nacon had an event coming up, a publisher event to show off upcoming games.
Uh-huh.
They announced insolvency, delayed the event, shut down Spiders and some other studios, and then said, hey, guess what? That event is back on.
Why? What are they going to show at the event when they've shut down Spiders and everything
I
else?
don't know.
Huh. Okay.
But yes, this is from WCCF Tech. While Nikon itself and 3 more of its subsidiaries have all filed for insolvency, Nikon continues to truck onward and reveals its Nikon Connect event will indeed return in May 2026, as previously promised when the event was postponed earlier this year.
What does Nacon have under it other than spiders? Because I don't really know much about Nacon.
I don't know.
That's a good
Nikon.
question. Nacon Studios. Okay. Formerly Big Ben Interactive. Game publisher, holding company, gaming peripheral manufacturer.
Studios. They have a lot of ones you don't know of. They have Spiders and Datalic Entertainment are probably the most well-known ones.
Interesting. Okay.
They also have Nacon Studios Milan, Neopika, Midgar Studios, Ishtar Games, Kylotone, Echo Software, Cyanide, Cree-Tour Studios, and Big Ant Studios.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's a lot of okay, one of the developers makes a lot of AFL and cricket games. I know that Datalic makes a lot of point and click adventures that are generally really well regarded. Although they also did Gollum.
yeah. Wow, and looking at all the games that they've released a ton of games. Holy crap.
Yeah, they're a small publisher that puts out a lot of stuff. Because like you can be they're a small fish in a big pond. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm looking back, and really the only games that I know, Cat Rescue Story, really? Okay.
I've mainly known about Spiders because Spiders makes a lot of like interesting C to B tier RPGs like Greedfall, but they also did Steel Rising, which was a Souls-like game that I actually quite enjoyed. They did Of Orcs and Men, Fairy, Legends of Avalon, Mars Warlogs, Bound by Flame, all of which are like not great games, but also decent games that like are kind of they're good. They're good games, but it's hard to be a good game developer in this. He says WWCCF Tech went in on Nacon this whole week. I'm not sure which article Nick was referring to. Oh.
Well, I mean, it's a
just
shame.
one of the ones that that came out. But yeah, Nacon, it sounds like, is a bit of a toxic publisher, and Spiders is unfortunately being punished for its. Spiders is a developer that has been around for a while that is kind of being punished by their publisher being terrible.
If I had if I had Elon Musk money after I destroyed the Dodgers, I would actually try and get everybody that worked in Spiders and make Arachnid Studios.
Huh. Okay, yeah. Nacon actually,
I mean, they're
published...
a good company. They make good stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know why they couldn't sell them versus just shutting them down.
They did
probably
say that
because
they couldn't sell them.
Yeah, probably because they got more money or more credits from the government by shutting them down as opposed to actually selling them.
That could be.
Which sometimes happens.
Yeah, so like a sense of who Nacon is, they published Cthulhu the Cosmic Abyss, which is like a first-person horror detective game that came out like 2 weeks ago that I'm actually heard good things about that I want to play. And that was developed by Big Bad Wolf.
Yeah, it's a real shame. It hurt my heart when I saw that Spiders had shut down because they're a good studio and they make good games. And I really liked Greedfall. I didn't know that they released a new Greedfall, which, like I said something that if I, who liked Greedfall, didn't know that they released Greedfall 2, that is that they're not putting money behind Spiders. They're not putting the budget to promote.
They're not advertising it. They're not pushing for it.
Right. So makes me want to buy Greedfall 2, except the money would go to Nikon at this point. But it hurt my heart to find out that the developer, because I spent so much. I remember Greedfall as being the game that had the most brutal opening sequence in order to get past the tutorial area that was harder than the rest of the game entirely. That there was a monster on the docks you had to fight that was fucking impossible. And once you got past that, the rest of the game was a breeze.
I
And
remember you talking about this.
yeah, it was. I spent a lot of time getting through that and eventually ended up having to cheese it in order to get past it so I could get to the rest of the game. But it was a fun game. I enjoyed it a lot and spent many, many, many hours playing Greedfall. So I'm sad that they're gone. But as is the nature with many studios that are shut down by a parent company for financial reasons, that generally speaking, they usually come back as another studio. So that's what I'm hoping, is that the Greedfall employees band together. And I wish I had my Elon Musk money to be able to fund them to create a new studio that continues on with that legacy, because they make good, very classic, story-driven RPGs with good combat and interesting characters and interesting storylines. And yeah, I had a great time in that game. It makes me miss them very much. But it also makes me want to play Greedfall 2, because if it weren't for the fact that they closed them down, I wouldn't know that Greedfall 2 just came out.
Yeah.
All right, your next item.
What was my next item? Oh, yes. Hey, do you remember when the crazy Mike Gerhardt of Build the Rocket Boy, who developed Mindseye, said, "We have been sabotaged from the inside, and we're gonna put out a DLC that exposes the
That chucklehead.
saboteurs." Yeah, that's
Chucklehead,
chucklehead.
total chucklehead.
So I was like, all right, man, show us the receipts. You're so like, he's so angry. He's so pissed. He's like, law enforcement is getting involved. We're making a case. Show us the receipts. He
Okay.
put out the DLC and it does not have any receipts. It does not have
No.
anything. The closest is like, if you find an audio log or a text log, it makes a mention of like a secret network of people. Because okay, back up a bit. This Blackout mission, this DLC, was originally meant to be a crossover with Hitman, because IO Interactive was previously a publisher for Mindseye. When all this shit started to go down, IO Interactive was like, we have
We're
no
bouncing.
evidence of this. We're out. They canceled the crossover with Hitman. And so as a result, this Blackout mission plays a lot like a Hitman mission, but it's a really bad Hitman mission. As you play through, you'll find text logs. One of those text logs mentions a secret network. Maybe that's the saboteurs. That's the closest. The other thing is, as you're going through the mission, at one point you need to chase down a DJ. That DJ, if you squint, might be a reference to one of the people that Mike Gerhardt accused of sabotage, which was a streamer named like Cyberboy. What was it? Oh shoot, I think I closed the tab. Oh, yeah, Cyberboy was believed by studio leadership to be behind the alleged sabotage of the game. And so maybe you chase down a DJ that might be a reference to him. But these are like, we're stretching to try to interpret this thing as possibly being evidence of sabotage. So not only does it
Mike
not
Gerhardt is
have
so
the
full of
receipts,
shit.
it
He's
doesn't.
so
It doesn't even have something that looks like a receipt of sabotage.
I think he might actually be insane.
Yeah, like he might be legitimately unwell.
I think he might be unwell because that does not sound like actual real world receipts. It sounds like he got into his game and thought it was real. That he might have a problem discerning reality from fantasy.
Maybe. There was another news that I didn't put in because it was kind of minor. Mindseye infamously has this system called Arcadia that was meant to be user generated content
Mhm.
because Leslie Benzies, the guy who worked at Rockstar, who, let's not forget, Leslie Benzies, the guy behind Rockstar, founded Build the Rocket Boy so that he could make a Roblox with GTA. Basically, Roblox that look like GTA. That's what
Mhm.
Mindseye was supposed to be. Um, so it has this whole user creation system to it. And some people like AI vibe coded a feature for that adds voice control to the game. Uh, but the Discord of Mindseye, the people who like the game enough to be part of the Discord
Yeah.
were like universally against this feature. So Build a Rocket Boy, kind of failing every step of the way.
Mind's Eye is, in a way, that whole thing falling apart the way it did is there's a bit of me that's sitting back with my popcorn and just, let's see how this plays out. Let's see how this plays out. But there's also a large part of me that is really sad that this has happened to a lot of people that were taken on the ride in and in an environment, in a world where pretty much people are taking jobs just because they, not because they choose to take the job, but because that was the job that was offered them in this atmosphere of many, many, many people, developers, people that are developers and people in the industry losing their jobs. They don't have a wealth of offers. So when they're given an offer, they're just kind of take it out of desperation. And here's people that are being taken on a ride with, an insane driver who doesn't know where he's going and truly doesn't who seems to not be able to discern reality from fantasy,
And it's
but
worth
they
noting
didn't have
that
a choice
previous
because it was the only car available to them at that time.
and it's worth noting that previous reporting has talked about how both Mike Gerhardt and Leslie Benzies were like a little bit micromanagey and a little bit of the, oh, I see you implemented that feature. Can you take that out and add in a different feature? So a little bit of the constantly moving the managers who constantly move the goalposts and can never decide on a scope or a limit of a feature. And that's one of the reasons that it cost a lot of money and ended up being one of the worst games of 2025.
As someone who has seen that happen in real time from an outsider's point of view, watching somebody within the industry and seeing that happen, and well, it's all say as far as identifying features, it is frustrating because you hear it in people's voices of like, they know that this is bad, but they have no control over what's happening and what's going on. They're just trying to do the best they can in an impossible situation that they know the car is running into a wall. They know it, but they can't get out of the car. And hopefully they just get laid off in time before the car crashes. So, yeah, it wouldn't be so sad were it not for the environment in which we are in for developers and people within the industry, and just the coder or the QA guy that's just trying to make a living doing what he's been doing for the last 20
The poor
years.
guy who had to try to make this blackout mission. Like, he's just working on it. He's working on just
And he knows
it-
that it's horrible. He
and the guy's like,
knows.
we're gonna have receipts of sabotage, and he's just like, motherfucker, no, it's not. I keep what are you talking about, man?
Right.
What the
Right.
what did
Look, I just want to collect my paycheck and pay for my kids who my kid just got born. I don't have a choice. I just got to do this. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what happens. Well, I've said this a number of times recently in a lot of different circumstances of people believing that they're the smartest boy in the room. And they're not the smartest boy in the room. They're just the boy who happened to have the most amount of money in the room.
Mhm.
And
The richest boy.
sooner the richest boy. And so many situations, certainly in the last 2 weeks, and not just within the industry, but also in politics and everywhere else, where people don't realize they're not that smart. They were just lucky the first time around. Very, very lucky. And lucky doesn't mean smart. You're not the innovator. You're not the genius. You were just in the right place at the right time. And the complete and total lack of cognition of your own limitations that permeates much of tech culture right now. Not just tech culture, a lot of other culture too. But we talk about it because it's in tech culture. That just because you have a lot of zeros in your bank account, like at the ends of the one and then the bunch of zeros, doesn't make you smart. It makes you lucky. And the sooner you recognize that luck is not smart necessarily, you're not all Warren Buffett. You're not all a genius. You just happen to be in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to, I see you have no other articles, so I guess it's all me.
No, although I
all
do
Edie's
have
show for the rest of the show.
I did have one more that I
All right.
just saw
No,
browsing.
Put your thing in.
Okay.
Put your banner in. You type your banner while I continue to go. But as you're typing, please listen, because this is a discussion that I expect us to have. Because I think I'm going to say something fairly controversial, and I expect much pushback from you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So Warhorse had an AMA this week. And
Okay.
depending on where you read, it was some places said, some outlets said that it was an absolute disaster. I don't know that it was an absolute disaster, but it was interesting. And keep in mind that we're at a time that now the AI backlash has taken a life of its own. And you can't trust the extremes of anything.
Okay.
So at the end of, I guess it's May, so that it wouldn't be last month, but the end of March, so a month before last, Kotaku did report that a English editor and voiceover director for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Warhorse Studios' big game, the guy's name was Max Hegetmanek. Okay, Max Hegetmanek. He announced on Reddit that his role at Warhorse Studios had been made obsolete, quote unquote, in favor of using AI for all translations going forward. Well, admittedly, this did not go over well because there is a huge sensitivity to anything AI within the gamerverse. So this week, the Warhorse Studios had an AMA It had 5 of Warhorse Studios' most senior members of staff, including the creative director, Victor Bokan, and Prokop Jizra. And because of this posting made by the voiceover director and translation editor made in March, they got hammered. So there were a bunch of questions that were very tongue-in-cheek that went unanswered. One of them asked if Warhorse Studios was planning to use a Gemini, quote unquote, Gemini premium subscription to translate its next game. The team that was in this AMA did attempt to answer some of these questions. One user did ask, I always dreamt of working as a translator for Warhorse Studios. Do you think I have a chance? So Jizra replied, definitely. We're currently in the process of hiring new translators. Yes, actual humans, plural. So they were apparently very aware that the use of AI in their translations was going to become an issue. So back at the end, when this original translator made that accusation that he was losing his job because of AI, they did put out a statement saying Warhorse Studios has always been a talent-driven studio. We deeply value the people who shape our work. Out of respect for the privacy and dignity of both the current and former colleagues, we will not discuss this individual's situation publicly.
Yeah, that sounds like they fired him to replace him with AI.
Right, or that there were other things going on and they couldn't really discuss it in public.
Maybe.
So it could go either way.
They do not deserve the benefit of the doubt.
Right. So this derailment of the AMA did, I guess, it made an impression on the Warhorse directors and the studios. The moderator for r/gaming, the Reddit subreddit, stepped in to post a locked comment featuring an official statement from Warhorse that said, quote, "We hear you and your concerns. Hopefully this explains the situation a bit. We do not see AI as a substitute for human work. We're currently looking to expand the company, including our translation team. Some team members find AI useful during early stages of production. However, we do not use AI-generated content in the final game, and we have no plans to change this in the future." So here is my discussion point. AI translation. It takes a lot of people. Before AI, it took a lot of people to do translation work for games. And granted, if you cannot just hand AI a translation and say, translate it, and then just copy paste it and put it in the game. Obviously, there are nuances within each language so that jokes land, so that colloquialisms are better translated from one language to another.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can just write an algorithm for and just do a Google Translate on. That being said, AI translation, at least as a beginning starting point, can make non-AI translation is very labor intensive and very slow. And given so many languages that games have to be translated into to reach the maximum amount of consumers, is using AI, at least at the very early stages, so that the easy stuff can be translated and the more difficult stuff can be reviewed by a human to make sure that it actually works. Is that an appropriate use for AI in games? Because right now, there is a knee-jerk reaction to AI in games, therefore AI slop. And AI is a tool that can be very very helpful. It can also be used wrong, very, very hurtful on many levels. It produces a subpar product and it puts people out of jobs. If you can have fewer AI translators translating into more languages more quickly because they are given the wireframe of translation by AI, is that a bad thing for games?
So the problem is that you say, oh yeah, we use the AI for the small things. What are the small things? Because if you, it's the typical, if I give you an inch, you'll take a mile. There is no world where any company will take an AI translation and go, this is pretty good. We want to give it to a human translator to clean it up and make it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
90% of companies will go, you know what? What if we save money on that human and just publish the AI translation? It's just easier. It's good enough. It's the problem with AI is that it's the plague of good enough, of someone looking at it and going, yeah, this seems good enough, and putting it out when previously the ball was great. Because the problem with Warhorse specifically is that the writing in Kingdom Come Deliverance is great. The writing is one of the selling points, and not just like the story. I mean, the individual pieces of dialogue, the writing of like ability notes, the books that you find, the conversations between characters that are infused with nuance and subtlety. All of that writing is really, really great. But if you just have, here's an AI, maybe someone can go through it and clean it up. Sure. In a perfect world, you could take that script, because it's already a script written in Polish, I think is what Warhorse is,
Polish.
and it's translated into English. The guy who got fired was one of the English translators. So the writing that I am praising is his work specifically. And in a perfect world, yeah, it'd be great to have an AI translate that into English, have him look over it and clean that up, have it translated into Spanish, have a different translator clean that up and like, make it really great. But then the companies are going, well, we have this AI translation. Why are we still paying these translators? Aren't they just doing the same work that they were doing before again?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the answer is yes, they are, but that's also what you pay them for, because that's how you get great writing and not good enough writing, or specifically writing that you think is good enough, but that other people will look at and go, wow, this is trash.
So, what I'm hearing is that there is a fear of quality degradation simply by, and really it comes down to abuse. The
Yes,
company abusing
the
AI,
problem with
not using AI, but abusing AI.
the
And it's
problem
that
with
fear
all
of the abuse.
the problem with all AI discussions in any industry anywhere
Mm-hmm.
is not that it's good enough to replace your job, because in 90% of circumstances, it's not good enough to replace your job. The
No,
problem,
just ask that company that had their entire database, their entire everything that was data in their company
yeah,
erased. It was
erased.
yeah, oh God. Erased, and all the backups erased, and the AI saying, I violated absolutely every
Yeah.
preset tenant that was given
Oops.
to me.
Sorry. But the problem is not that it can take your job. It's that your boss thinks it can take your job. The problem with AI is that it is ultimately a con. It cannot do the things that it is being hyped up to do. And it's just a flood of marketing blanketing society saying this technology can do anything. and the kind of really jumpy CEOs who are like so desperate for the next big thing after NFTs failed, after the metaverse failed, after streaming failed, after the whole tech industry kind of failed to find the next big product. Having this hype around AI, everyone wants to jump on it. That creates a sense of FOMO that everyone needs to get involved. And the slow wake up, after the slow hangover after the party of realizing we're not seeing more productivity, the products are not better, and all this stuff. It's great with coding. That's good. That's why Anthropic is now valued more than OpenAI, because Anthropic found a niche and is emphasizing that. While OpenAI, it was the more AI can do everything. We want to be consumer focused, but consumers don't really give a shit. They just make funny pictures. They don't want to pay $100 to make a funny picture. But to bring all this back to Warhorse, the ultimate problem is the CEO of Warhorse going, yeah, AI translation, I think that's good enough. We don't need to pay the translator. And it makes me genuinely worried for their next game, because Warhorse has generally had excellent writing in their games. And I don't know if the next game will be excellent.
Is the backlash that anytime AI is used in any way, shape, or form, okay, this case, I mean, I'm going to take Warhorse, assuming we take Warhorse at their word, that AI, how did they, let me get back to the description that they specifically said. Warhorse has always been a talent-driven studio. We do not see AI as a substitute for human work. We are currently looking to expand the company, including our translation team. No, that's not what I was looking for. But I wish I could.
AC Rate says, today I had an AI ad trying to tell me a half-hour story with the skip bar not loading. I had to shut down the video and start again.
But if any company, of any studio,
to answer the question,
trust
yes.
Warhorse that they would
you shouldn't.
AI responsibly.
Don't, because their CEO is fucking insane. The CEO, this is another story of Warhorse that we hadn't talked about.
Okay.
So,
bring it.
In Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you can have a romantic relationship with Hans.
Okay.
It's there's a woman that you can have a love interest with, but you can also have a romantic relationship with Hans, who's like your buddy from the first game, who you're kind of always following. So there's a gay relationship in the game. It was nominated for an LGBT gaming award. The CEO is previously a guy who was like a gamer gator, who's like, oh, fuck all these woke games.
Oh, really?
And he specifically was like, when the game got nominated, he was like, yeah, we got nominated because I pushed for that gay relationship, because this is how you do it, not like all that other woke bullshit. He's like, yeah, we made the right kind of gay relationship. We don't shove it in your face, unlike all those other.
These are the good gays. These are the good gays.
These are the good gays. He's like, okay, specifically, where is it? What's the quote?
Oh my God, he is insane.
I absolutely stand by.
I love Warhorse. Why are you doing this to me?
I absolutely stand by the fact that the way we did it is exactly how something like this should be done. Non-coercively, naturally, and educationally, because we show how things really were in the Middle Ages without idealizing them. We made the gay community happy and gave them the choice to be themselves, just like we did for others in other choices and quests. And anyone who isn't interested probably didn't even notice. Because
I wasn't aware of any game that forced me to be gay.
Exactly. No, the CEO of Warhorse. Look, you
Many
should
games that
know
gave me the opportunity to be gay.
is a
but
fucking crazy guy who's like always keep Warhorse of like who? Okay, wait. Oh, what's his name?
could it be a translation problem? Did he do this as a
Oh,
Did he need to have
Vavra.
AI translation?
Daniel Vavra. Oh, he's not the CEO. He's the creative director.
Okay.
But yes, Daniel Vavra. Like whenever you hear Warhorse, be like, is Daniel Vavra involved? But yes. So I would not trust Warhorse Studios to use AI responsibly.
Well, I don't see how that translates, other than the fact that he's a weirdo.
Because people like that who are, we did it right, everyone else did it wrong, is exactly the kind of person who would replace an AI translator and say, we did AI translation right, so we don't need that guy. It's exactly the kind of arrogance, I know what I'm doing, I don't need to listen to you, that drives AI slop.
Well, there's a part of me that says that there is a middle ground with AI of it being AI. There's AI slop. That is a thing. That is a real thing. But there is also AI. God, how would I describe somebody who's completely 100% anti-AI? Like, no, nothing AI. I
Anti-AI.
want nothing AI. I want it all done with chisels and stone tablets. That's how original I am.
That is a little extreme.
I know. But
No
that kind
digital
of
art.
mindset of like, I want AI to do nothing to do with anything that I have. Fuck AI.
I mean, isn't that
There's a
just
middle ground between the
what
two
we
of
were
like
doing in
AI
like
is a
2020?
useful, right? But that's an AI can be a really useful tool.
Yes. So
Is it
okay.
the be all and end all to replace humans? No. Will it be? Possibly. But for right now, AI does serve a certain purpose to getting the tedious, time consuming, basic idiot work done quickly. And if that causes a savings for a company that ultimately would be lowering the cost of the game, which would make the
That'll
game
never happen. But to answer your
it
question, yes, there is a middle ground. No, we won't find it anytime soon. Because in order to find that middle ground, the bubble has to pop. The
well, the bubble has
fantasy.
to pop on right, the fantasy,
No,
the
but
sales pitch.
the hype
AI
around it
right.
has to pop, and there has to be a grand reckoning that we will not achieve AGI, that the AI is nowhere near as capable of these grand promises that people like Sam Altman has made. Once the whole tech industry reckons with that reality, then you can start finding a middle ground, because then companies can start thinking logically and rationally about how to implement it. Because right now, they're still caught up in the hype cycle and the belief that this can do all of these amazing things and it will only get better.
Right.
There has to be
the kind of company that hands its entire database and all backups to an AI because they think that
yes,
AI can replace human beings, and then the AI deletes everything. I think that more of these have to happen. But what I'm hearing is that the problem with AI isn't necessarily AI, it's the sales pitch that has been sold and accepted as
yes,
being a reality.
but
And
it's
the question is,
also
are we recognizing that that is a sales pitch and not the reality? It is not going to make your coffee for you. It is not going to solve to cure cancer. It is just a tool, in the same way that Excel being able to add a complex and large set of numbers and give you a sum does it. It's not going to run your company, But it is a tool that you can use to help you run your company.
Yes, and that is a problem, that the marketing is selling a false bill of goods.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that the marketing is selling the false bill of goods is because the technology itself is so expensive to run and maintain that if you only used it for those small services as a tool, you would have to charge a amount of money that most people wouldn't pay for, and it would become financially unstable. You cannot charge people a fair price for AI because it costs too much to do what it can do the best. You can see this now with Anthropic slowly raising its prices and all the other companies using Anthropic's LLM slowly raising their prices, and all the coders using Claude sort of realizing that, God damn, I'm blowing through my entire budget of AI tokens in 3 months because the price keeps going up, because
Mm-hmm.
that's how much it actually costs to run these LLMs. What OpenAI is, and at least I'll get into what I think the actual future of AI will be. It's not OpenAI and it's not Anthropic because they're too expensive to run, and the things that they do good, you cannot make a profitable business out of them using the LLMs. The future of AI is China. It's DeepSeek, which is an AI model that just runs so much cheaper. It is far less expensive to run. I don't know exactly how good it is at coding and stuff compared to Claude and ChatGPT, but look, let's be honest. This is capitalism. We don't give a shit about quality. We care about costs. DeepSeek is cheaper than ChatGPT or Claude. That is something that the American AI industry will have to reckon with sooner rather than later.
Do you think the U.S. has lost the AI war?
Soon,
so to
GameHounds will be
speak?
powered by AI.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
to
To
be
answer your
honest, GameHounds does use AI. We are using AI right now. If you've noticed, we have had several the last couple of weeks we've been
the
doing
clips.
the clips.
Yeah.
Those are AI driven clips. It gives me like 5 of them to choose from, and then I go, I like this or I don't like this. And if I don't like it, it goes, okay, well, I'll make another clip. What do you want me to give me something to look for that you thought was good? And I'll put in, I'll be like, Xbox, Game Pass, give them a couple of keywords. I mean, I do it in real speech. It's like Nick was talking about XYZ, and it will go in and look where Nick was looking for XYZ and make a clip from it and say, how about this? And I'm like, well, make it a little earlier or make it a little later, you know, get where he said this. I
Yeah.
remember him saying this phrase, and it'll go, okay. And it moves it. So GameHounds is already using AI for
And now the
what it's
question.
meant to do is
Now the
to
question
find
is,
shit for me that I would take me hours to find on my own.
how much would you pay for that feature?
I've got 25 free clips, and I am being very careful with those because I am not going to pay additional money to StreamYard for me to find those clips. That being said,
And
when I
there you
come to the
go.
end, it's going to be hard because I know I'm going to want to create those clips. I'm just going to have to be a lot more diligent about writing down timestamps of when you said something that I don't have to do right now.
Yeah.
Is it worth it to me right now? No. If I was making 30, 40, $50,000 a year on this show, yes. And that's where it comes down to is how much money am I getting? How much value am I getting out as far as my time in relation to how much money I'm going to get back for the investment of what it costs for you to do it for free or
And that's the
automatically?
problem. You're like, this AI feature is really good. Will I pay for it? Haha, no.
No, not right now because I'm not making money at it. But were I making enough money to cover the costs of this show? Yes. It would be one of the first things I do, because the alternative is that I would
Having to
spend
do it all yourself. Yeah.
literally hours going through a show and trying to clip it myself,
Well,
and then
actually,
having
no.
to clip it and find it and edit it
If
down,
you made
and then put the script across it, the closed captioning across it that makes it compelling. It does it all automatically. Were I making money on the show? Yes, I would pay for that.
No, if you were making money on the show and there was no AI, you pay someone else to do that. That's how it usually works.
Depends
That's
on what's
that's what
cheaper.
clippers use. I'm saying if there
True.
was no AI, that's what you would use. You'd pay someone else
AC
to do it.
Ray, you want to make a
That's
little bit, you want to make a very, very little bit of money?
that's
Make
basically
me
the
clips.
job of a producer, is
Right.
to have those timestamps and do those things. But yes, the point is to bring it all
Honestly,
around.
if I could break even hiring a human being and making clips, I would hire a human being. But if I can't break even with a human being, and it's cheaper for me to do that and get the AI until I make enough money to pay for a human being, that's what I'll do. It's a bridge. It's a bridge to me to getting to
Yeah.
enough income to be able to pay for a human being to do it right.
And so to bring it all around.
And that's where it's
Oh my
right
God.
sized. Sorry,
So
to bring
yes,
it all around.
AI is being sold. It can do some things really well.
Mhm.
The technology is too expensive to justify only doing the things it can do really well. So that's why the marketing promotes it as doing everything, but it cannot do everything. Slowly, people are realizing that, and we will not be able to find a proper middle ground of AI until that marketing bubble pops and people come to an actual realization of how much does this actually cost to use? How much can we charge users? And businesses have to decide, do we want to pay for that or pay for a person? And like, you
Mhm.
need the marketing bubble to pop before all of that can happen.
Yes, we
In the
need the hype to come
meantime,
away.
in the
Right.
meantime, for things like Warhorse, give them all the shit you want. Look, I love Crimson Desert. Pearl Abyss does like AI concept art. Give them all the shit. Give them
Mhm.
all the shit. Just unload onto them like diarrhea levels of shit for using poor AI.
Mhm. Uh, Chaos says it's insane that Nvidia CEO says he wants his employees to spend half their salary worth in tokens. Like, how much efficiency do you get out of that? So you don't have to pay that to more employees. Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, also, here's the problem. Here's the problem again. Like, you measure that in token use. Oh, we use $100,000 in tokens and we want to use that. For the AI company, they are financially incentivized to do a poor job, because if they give you what you want on your first prompt, you're not doing a second prompt. And if you're not doing a second prompt, that means you're not spending money on those tokens. They want you to spend money on tokens. So the entire financial model of AI is incentivized to do just an okay job to keep you prompting.
If their AI could do it in $50,000, then it'd be no point in you buying $100,000 worth of tokens. So you want to make it
Exactly.
half of it as efficient so that you spend $100,000 on it.
Exactly.
And by the way, I gotta give hot props to AC Wraith. I like money. And he actually linked. I linked the scene from Idiocracy.
Oh.
I like money. Oh man, Idiocracy. Who knew that that was going to be a prescient documentary?
Yeah.
And thank you for the link. Video clipping isn't profitable as social media makes it seem. That's true. It makes sense that it isn't. But
The
you know
video
what?
clipping? No. Okay. Again. Okay.
I got 10
Well,
times as
no.
many
Okay.
people
Everyone.
on one clip than I do watching this show.
Yes. But
And any moment, I'm talking peak watchers on this show. I got 10, more than that, 20 times the amount of people looking at that clip as this show at its peak. And I'm not talking about overall average. I'm talking about the maximum amount of people looking at the show.
yes, because look, let's be honest, short form video is like the current
I'm hooked on
it
it.
is how people consume
It
media
is.
today.
It is.
Thank
Thank you, TikTok.
that said, highly recommend the newsletter Garbage Day to people. It's a tech newsletter where the guy and his team just sort of dig into aspects of tech culture. And he's been going a lot into clipping and like what that actually means. And one of the most recent newsletters he had was someone who spends like tens of millions of dollars on clipping in order to like blanket all the social media feeds of his stuff. And he's like the third biggest streamer on Kick. And in the newsletter, he's like, have you ever heard of this guy? Probably not. Which then raises the question, spending tens of millions of dollars on clipping, and you're the third biggest streamer on the platform, all to say, I've never heard of him.
Yeah, but it's not whether you've heard of him and how much money he's made. How many music producers? How many music producers?
He's making enough money that he still needs Kick to fund the clipping exercises.
Okay, good point.
Which basically the whole point of the newsletter, of that section of the newsletter, was that a lot of these streamers that are kind of the whole clipping industry that kind of fuels these social media pages is like kind of inherently unstable and not worth it. And it's all, again, it's another bubble. The bubble of clipping has an industry is like, oh, none of this is really quite worth it when you look at how much views it actually brings in versus how much you're spending to try to publicize anyone.
True. That is true. But there are also people that make a living by creating very good high quality clips. And it comes down to quality. Yes. Are you doing a good clip? And that's an art, not a science. And AI is very good at science, not very good at art. No. As we all know, with the six-fingered hands. By the way, suggest earn on the lower hand. Compensation typically ranges from 50 cents to $3 per 1,000 views, with top performers utilizing specialized platform to maximize revenue. This is according to the YouTube AI summary.
Oh, yeah. He says video clipping isn't profitable as social media makes it seem. Oh, yeah. And then compensation typically ranges from 50 cents to 3,000 cents per 1,000 views. Oh, with top. Oh, that's the same thing. Google AI summary.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that says, going back to the original, that AI, like, throwing the script into AI and getting something back out that is minimally translated to go back over, and as someone who's been an editor, is a hell of a lot easier to edit than it is to write. Takes a lot less time. And as I see the concept of Warhorse saying, hey, we'll stick it all into an AI, it spits back minimally useful garbage that we can hand to an editor that can clean it up. And cleaning up, you can clean up something and make it art. If you can take all the heavy lifting of actually listening to every single line, some of which needs complex translation and some of which absolutely doesn't need complex translation. If you can take that non-complex translation out, because not everything needs to be translated at that level, Give me back a very badly translated, and I can retranslate it correctly.
So yes,
I can see
but
that being useful, and I can see that
but
lowering the cost to Warhorse, which, yes, ideally that would lower the cost to the consumer. But
oh,
I
that's never gonna
know,
happen.
right. But that's less important to me to ensure that Warhorse doesn't go underwater and ends up like spiders. Granted, spiders is a different situation, but how many studios have gone
That's less of an issue.
out of business because their game didn't make enough money based on how much it cost them to make it?
Yes, but okay, here's the
I
thing.
can
Here's the
see that.
thing.
I can absolutely see that and want
Yes,
that for these companies.
it is easier to edit something than it is to
Mhm.
write something.
Yes.
But it's harder to edit something bad than it is to write something. It's harder to edit something that is shitty
Yes.
than it is to just start over from
Yes.
scratch.
Yes,
And I've
I have
noticed
had
this.
to do that.
I have had to do that too with various things at work of like, okay, I've got some notes. Make me a PowerPoint. And it's like, that's a shitty PowerPoint. Do it again. That's also shitty. Do it again. More prompts. That, oh my God, this is still shitty. I'll do it my fucking self. And I do it in 30 minutes and it's better.
Okay. So, along those same
Basically, what I'm
lines,
saying, Copilot sucks. Copilot
right.
is the worst LLM.
Now, going pre-AI, when I was handed an incredibly badly written article where man, I can think of a couple of different writers who it's like, how did you get a degree? Because you're handing me this and it is unprintable. I had to write the entire article based on the only thing that they provided me was the source material, was the quotes. I had to rewrite the entire fucking article and then put their goddamn name on it, even though I wrote it because it was unfucking printable. And the way that it happened, and this is before AI. This is not AI.
Mm-hmm.
How much of my frustration at doing that, was because I was frustrated that a human being wrote this and handed me such crap that I had to work with.
I mean, I'd be frustrated just being handed crap. I don't care who made it. I don't want
Right.
to be handed human crap or robot crap or cat crap or cow crap. I don't want to be handed crap. Just
Yeah,
as a general rule of thumb.
true. You don't want to be handed crap, but sometimes you're handed crap. There is an element, I think, and there's if anybody wants to like do a somebody's law of crap, that there is a measurable amount of frustration that comes with being handed something that you need to edit and put somebody else's name on that is not inconsequential. That
Mhm.
there is an actual value to the amount of work that you have to do when you're doing something yourself versus when you're doing something for somebody else that did it wrong the first time. You know what I'm talking about? There's a different valuation on the hours. Like if it takes you an hour to write something yourself, that's one thing. But if it takes you an hour to fix something that somebody else wrote badly,
Mm,
that seems like it's a much longer hour. Like this
yes.
shouldn't take me an hour. This should take me 15 minutes, but you wrote it so badly that it took me an hour. Now I'm pissed off. Whereas if I'd actually written it for an hour, it's the same amount of time, but it's weighted differently.
Yeah.
So I am not I'm not mad at AI for doing what it does in the way that it actually does it. I am starting to recognize that there are polarizations of the people that think that AI will do everything without human beings. They're wrong. And the people that say AI is bad and it can do nothing and AI should touch nothing. they're wrong too. The truth is lying somewhere in the middle. The problem is that the needle between the AI shouldn't touch anything and AI can do everything is, as AI is getting better, it's slowly moving towards the AI doing everything. And I think that
Except
that
it's not.
fear,
But
but
it's not.
it's
But
not right now.
that's the marketing hype. It's not. Every
It
single
will.
model that comes out still hallucinates the same percentage. You
True, right
cannot fix
now,
the
but don't
no,
you think
you
that it
cannot
will?
fix the no, no, I don't. I think it is a
Oh.
fundamental issue of the technology. As they scale up, the hallucinations also scale up. It is a fundamental flaw with like the bedrock of the technology. You cannot fix the hallucinations.
See, there was what I was trying to get at, is that you don't think that AI will ever get to this state where it can actually, that needle does go to the AI will
No,
replace
I
everything.
think that this implementation of AI, this specific way that the LLM takes information and processes it, I think it has a fundamental limitation that it cannot ever supersede. And if you want to do something that does, if you want to get AGI, it requires taking it all down to the ground and restarting from scratch.
Mhm. AC Ray says, I don't like Google AI on principle, but sometimes a quick list of sources is helpful, even if the answer is both stolen and BS. There are field-specific uses which can be used ethically, but corporations will not do so.
Yes. I also feel
It's
like your comparison of like, oh, the AI proponents and the anti-AI people is like the anti-AI people, there's not that many of them. And a lot of them are mainly like poorly oh, you're anti-AI, you're anti-technology. It's like no, I'm not anti-technology. I'm just pointing out that this technology is fundamentally flawed and you're not listening and you're trying to paint me as a like crazy person. That anti-AI has more valid arguments than the pro AI. And I don't think the anti-AI exists on that same spectrum of like, oh, the boosters and the haters, and oh, they're all equal. No, they're not equal.
no, they're not.
The anti-AI people actually exist more towards the center of rationality of like, no, this is what it can do and this is what it can't do.
Well, yes, and the
I think
people
leading
that are
all the way to the
pro
side with it
AI
all
are
with
more incentivized to characterize those middle ground, quote unquote, anti-AIers as being extremes. They're
yes.
prone. It serves them to turn them into the extreme but they're not. They're all
Yeah.
right. All right.
There was also something that came out of like someone from Google was talking about how, oh yeah, I've talked, all these companies are using AI already. They're just afraid to talk about it because of the backlash. But when you look at it, he mentioned in the interview, oh yeah, Resident Evil Requiem, Capcom is using AI to make pebbles because nobody wants to make pebbles. That's below an artist's time. The guy was an AI proponent from Google. So naturally, he wants to support AI. He's talking, it was an interview for a mobile game website. I absolutely believe there are people using AI to churn out mobile games. 3, Unreal Engine already creates pebbles automatically. Unreal Engine, all engines can create forests automatically. If you're out there saying AI can make a pebble so artists don't have to, that tells me you're a fucking idiot who doesn't understand that game engines already have that capability.
Mm-hmm.
Game
AC
engines
Ray says,
already auto-generate so many assets without using AI. Just your classic general non generative AI procedural generation. You can do so much with classic procedural generation that you don't need AI for a lot of this stuff.
yeah. AC Ray says, I'm anti corporations laying people off and polluting. AI is just a current popular method. And Chaos says, I think the issue right now is AI industry as it stands and how it's pushed and regulated make it a net negative for society. So I'm against it morally.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary.
Yeah, it's a good summary.
And
All
that's
right,
why,
so
and that's why you should be wary of the rumored Lord of the Rings game that Warhorse is working on.
all right, so why don't you go into that? I'm assuming that you have a
Oh no,
topic
that
on
wasn't the story I had.
Okay, well,
that
what
was
is
just something that came.
give me the story you have because I have to go to the bathroom so badly. Oh my god, I can't believe I had that conversation having to pee
Last week,
so bad.
Christopher McQuarrie and Michael B. Jordan announced a Battlefield movie, and that has triggered a bidding war amongst a bunch of Hollywood studios because naturally, Michael B. Jordan is coming off of his Oscar win for Sinners, and Christopher McQuarrie is coming off of directing the last 4 Mission Impossible movies. And I would absolutely join this bidding war if I had the money because I want to give them $200 million to make a badass stunt-filled Battlefield movie. That feels like an appropriate combination of creator and subject, the same way that Alex Garland making an Elden Ring movie is a really good combination of creator and subject. So I don't know if Edie is still here or if she went to the bathroom.
I am. I'm in the bathroom, but I can still hear.
Okay.
That's sharing too much.
So yes, the point is that I'm really excited for this. And honestly, I think this is a much bigger deal than the Call of Duty movie that has Peter Berg attached to it. But Peter Berg has directed like a lot of really serious and grounded movies. He did Lone Survivor. He did the Deepwater Horizon, the oil spill movie, the movie about the Boston bombing. Like he's a down to earth, nitty gritty. Like, oh, I want to show this realistically, but Christopher McQuarrie is like, nah, let's just make this fucking awesome. So in the same way that this year we have a Street Fighter movie and a Mortal Kombat movie coming out within months of each other, I really hope that in a couple years we have the Call of Duty movie and the Battlefield movie coming out within months of each other. And I think the Battlefield movie will be the better movie. I trust Christopher McQuarrie and Michael B. Jordan more than I do Peter Berg.
I don't know. There's a part of me that wants a Call of Duty movie to be better, but I have to agree with you. You know what we need? What do we know? What do we need? AC
Race says, we hear everything, Edie.
No, you don't. I turned off my headset. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm very careful about that. I mean, there's a reason why that this has a light on it that tells me, and I check it constantly.
You think we were just talking about now? We mean all the time. All the time. So yeah, Battlefield movie announced. Really good cast. Not cast, but like really good creatives behind it. I don't know who's bought it yet. It is currently in a bidding war between Netflix, Warner Brothers, Amazon, Sony, and Universal. Hope to God Warner Brothers doesn't win and Netflix don't win because I don't want it to go to Netflix. I would love it to be an IMAX. Warner Brothers probably won't exist this time next year, so I hope they don't get it. Amazon? Maybe. They're doing pretty good with movies, all things considered.
There we go. I fixed your headline so it doesn't go off into a second line. This is what.
Yeah, but like I don't know who knows Jordan. Who the fuck is Jordan? The basketball player? Jordan? Who the fuck is Jordan?
Hold on a second.
Oh wait, I lost points on our names again. What did I say? He did.
Almost. Yeah, no. I think I almost did it, but I didn't. I stopped myself.
Oh wait, did I mix up Andrew and AC Wraith?
Did you? I think I might have. There we go. Curry and O'Neill announced Battlefield movie trigger bidding war.
Who the fuck's O'Neill? Who's Curry? The food? Marie Curie? Curie Otani?
All right. So, um,
Yeah, that
my
was the
next.
last thing I
Okay.
had.
Now I'm gonna try and rip through because I know you have to catch a plane sometime soon.
Not in like
Uh,
I've got 6 hours before I gotta go.
that's
I still
still.
have to pack.
I still have to. I have to fold laundry. So
I have to
let's
pack. I
let's.
gotta download Windrose to my Ally
Yes, you do.
still.
Actually, it downloads surprisingly fast. So, but
Okay.
you should start that. But either way, so I don't know how much I believe
Oh,
of
also,
this.
Acer says he has good news to end on.
Oh, does
And
he?
Andrew says Uwe Boll will rise up like the Dark Lord Sauron and bring game movies back down to their knees. Stay all this gamer movie hype.
All right.
Wait. Uwe Boll to return in 2027? What the fuck is he making?
Really? I'm all about Uwe Boll making movies. I mean, don't get me wrong, he makes terrible movies, but they're also awesome.
What is he making in 2027?
Uh, let's see. Let me see what he's making on standby. According to Wikipedia.
According to IMDb, there's First Shift Redemption, First Shift Vengeance, Seed Legacy, and Citizen Vigilante.
Yes, 2026, Citizen Vigilante. It is completed according to Wikipedia.
Oh wait, that's producer. What about writer?
First Shift Vengeance is TBA. These three are TBA. First Shift Vengeance, First Shift Redemption, and Seed Legacy. Yeah,
Oh, but those aren't.
Those are in post right now.
Those aren't. Oh, I thought they were video game movies.
So apparently there was a documentary called Going Postal: The Legacy Foretold. And he made First Shift in 2024. Did you see it?
Absolutely not.
He made something on 2023 that's called Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World. He made a cameo appearance. Never mind. No,
okay, Edie, you know, like when you're browsing through a list of streaming movies and you see a movie and you're like, oh, I vaguely remember that actor, and it looks like a action movie, and you watch a trailer and you're like, this looks kind of low budget. This is kind of like a straight to DVD movie.
That's an Uwe Boll movie by definition right there.
That is a way he makes those kind of movies. The kind of movies that you find on streaming and go, meh,
sure, why not? And then halfway through, it's like, why am I watching this?
Yeah. What have I done? I've derailed everything again. If I make Nick late because I distracted him with Uwe Boll, that would be legendary and sad.
And sad. Oh, very much sad. Very much legendary. I would respect you more for it. All right. So,
anyways, you were talking about GameStop.
GameStop is apparently looking to buy eBay.
Oh my God.
What? All right.
Skydance is a smaller company than Paramount, but Skydance bought Paramount. Now Skydance Paramount is a smaller company than Warner Brothers, but they're buying Warner Brothers. And now GameStop, which is like the most financially fucked up company, is trying to buy it. What the fuck?
So this is according to, believe it or not, Wall Street motherfucking Journal. They reported that GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen, tech bro extraordinaire, wants to put $100 billion plus juggernaut.
GameStop doesn't have $100 billion.
No, they don't.
They don't
GameStop has. Now keep in mind, here's the financials of it. GameStop has a market value of $11 billion, surprisingly. eBay has a market value of $46 billion.
How the fuck this makes no sense.
So that doesn't make sense. On face value, absolutely impossible for an $11 billion company to buy a $46 billion company, except that, astoundingly, GameStop has $9 billion in cash in the bank.
That's because of all the money they don't pay employees.
That is exactly right. So, because of the $9 billion that they have in the bank, Wall Street Journal says, according to them, they could make up to a $35 billion bid in stock if the company's market value hits $100 billion.
If which company's market value hits 100 billion?
Cohen could make up to a $35 billion in, oh, this is the Cohens could make it. Never mind. So because they have a $9 billion in cash, they could make a bid of up to $100 billion. Because of
That
course they would finance. How do you buy a house? You raise 20% of the value of the house and then you pay the rest off in a loan. It's the same idea
but you
because they have
need people
$9 billion
to
in
give you that
cash.
loan, and you need people to give you that loan with evidence that you're capable of repaying that loan. GameStop cannot do that.
So Ryan Cohen owns 9% of GameStop. He is the biggest individual shareholder. He could absolutely not only initiate it, but approve it.
Huh. Yeah, but that's
So
from his side. That doesn't mean that anyone's going to actually loan him money.
there was an investor who was interviewed by Wall Street Journal named Michael Burry, who owns shares in the company. He said earlier this year, that Cohen, quote, has crappy business. He's milking it the best as he can while taking advantage of the meme stock phenomenon to raise cash and wait for an opportunity to make a big buy of a real growing cash cow business.
Michael Burry was someone from The Big Short.
Uh-huh.
What did he do?
Mm.
Oh, was he Christian Bale in The Big Short?
Maybe. Is he? Oh my gosh, I know exactly who that is. He's a
Yeah.
genius. Yeah. So this
Yeah, he was Christian Bale. Christian Bale played him.
Oh, no kidding. So he's
So
saying that
he's
what
the
Ryan
guy.
Cohen has been doing is he's been banking cash into GameStop's bank accounts to create enough cash so that he could parlay that into a down payment on a real business as opposed to GameStop, which is a dying business. And this has been his end move. This has been the final form of Ryan Cohen, that he wanted to own a real business, not GameStop. So he used GameStop in order to put enough money in the bank that he could use that to create enough cash to put a down payment so that he could buy something like eBay, which actually does make money,
And then run that into the ground.
and run that into the ground. Hey, listen,
He said, Andrew's like,
don't get
yeah,
me wrong.
sure.
If you could actually have that much cash in the bank from a dying business like GameStop, it's arguable you're not as as shitty a business person as one would lead you to believe. So, and they're saying that if the eBay investors don't agree, he may take it to the open market with an offer to the open market to investors, which is how it frequently happens when you're buying a publicly traded company, is like what happened with Elon Musk and Twitter. I'm offering XYZ share for each share of stock. And people just people just give it to him, sell it to him. And all of a sudden now he owns the company. That's how Elon Musk, granted, he made the stupid comment on Twitter and then he backed out of it. And then the investors in Twitter sued him to make him accept the offer that he made. So that's how he ended up with Twitter. He didn't want Twitter. He made an idle comment on social media and everybody bought stock because of course, oh, by the way, incidentally, GameStop shares jumped 6.33% on the announcement or the revelation that they might be looking at eBay. And eBay share jumped 11% on the news. So they're
This
anticipating that there may be an offer to shareholders directly if eBay doesn't agree institutionally. They may make an offer to the eBay shareholders directly to purchase their stocks so that they end up owning eBay.
this is how you know our economy is fucked. Because this entire discussion has no value to consumers. We will all be fucked. This is all just market manipulation that ultimately hurts the average. It ultimately hurts consumers. This is capitalism disconnected from consumerism.
Mm-hmm. True. But
Everything these companies do fucks us over. There's no benefit to any of this. We will suffer for all of it.
Yep. So yeah, that and where that 35 billion came from, as the Wall Street Journal noted, and this comes out of IGN, as the Wall Street Journal noted, Cohen could make up to $35 billion in stock if the company market values hits $100 billion, among other compensation package criteria. In January, the 40-year-old billionaire told the publication he wanted a quote-unquote big deal that is, quote, ultimately either going to be genius or totally, totally foolish. So it may be that GameStop, after all this time, is actually making its final move to become not GameStop anymore, to become eBay or some other actual legitimate company that's making money.
He'll just buy eBay and then completely shut down GameStop.
Yes. Because GameStop, we've known this for the last 15 years. Since the advent of digital distribution, GameStop was fucked. It's the fact that it's still around is kind of a bit of a miracle. It should have gone under 10 years ago.
There was a
It
good
should have
story.
gone under again 5 years ago. The fact that it's still around is insane.
There was a good story about GameStop long ago when digital distribution just was starting to happen. GameStop bought a digital distribution company. And for a while, it would be like, hey, buy this game on, I don't know, Horizon or Steam. Like it was listed right next to Steam. But the CEO of GameStop at the time, who's not the current CEO, was like, it's a fad. It won't go anywhere. And so they just didn't support it and eventually shut it down.
Blockbuster versus Netflix. Yeah. It's a fad. It won't work. Never do it. Never mind. We don't want to do it. And it cost them the company. And it did. It's cost GameStop their company. The fact that GameStop is still alive says he's not an idiot. Because he shouldn't, for all reason, GameStop shouldn't exist.
I mean, I
So
think
the fact that it exists kind of says something.
I think it shows that there's a market for physical games that still exists.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it is a solid, consistent market. It won't grow. You can't make billions of dollars off of that market, but it is a consistent market.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, takeover bid of the eBay that might be done by, of all things, GameStop. Who knew?
This is a sign of this is a sign of America dying. Like this is a symptom of like the entire death of capitalism has a driving force of global politics. Like this is a sign of the end times. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and my final item, which is slightly better. So PlayStation is going to pay a settlement that may actually benefit us as players and gamers and people that purchased games from PlayStation. So here's the story. So, PSN is due to pay $7.85 million in a class action lawsuit due to a settlement. So here's what was alleged and what they're paying out on. And it has to do with Sony monopolizing the market because it eliminates competition that should, in theory, naturally occur between retailers.
And I believe this is specifically saying it's not what Epic is saying about Apple, about how, oh, you need to allow third-party sellers on PlayStation. This is about you not being able to buy PlayStation points in physical stores.
Right.
Like if I go to Safeway, I could buy a gift card for like $100 in Microsoft points, or $100 gift card for Steam, right? I can't buy a gift card for PSN at Safeway.
Right. So, and let me see if I can get back down to it. It has to do with and I'm reading this out of IGN. You can still snag denominations of PSN credit from most major third-party stores. The platform holder famously ceased selling game-specific vouchers in 2019, which entitled you to purchase digital games from a variety of different shops.
Oh, okay. So it's not points; it's for games.
For games. So if you had a voucher that sold at retail, and that voucher was sold at scale, and the game's price increased after the vouchers disappeared, those are the people who will be able to cash in on this settlement. So you can find the list of eligible games through, and I'm posting it right now because I don't know if AC Wraith will be able to do it. I'm putting it in the link right here. List of eligible games for the settlement. Okay, I'm posting it now in all of the things. So here is the list of games for the settlement. So if you, and you're going to have to look at that list, and you're going to have to do a copy paste into your browser to look at it. So if you bought a digital game on the PSM store between April 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2023, the game previously had a voucher sold at retail. The voucher sold at least 200 units that were purchased before April 2019, and then after the vouchers disappeared, the average price consumer paid for the game was at least 50 cents higher after April 19 compared to before April 2019. So the fairness hearing on this case is scheduled to take place on October 15, 2026. The settlement will only be provided once it's approved. So we're quite a few months off from this happening. But should it go through, anyone who's eligible will be credited with a share of the $7.85 million settlement as compensation directly to their PSN wallet. Now, $7.85 million is nothing compared to people that purchased games. And I would imagine it's a fairly extensive list of games. From 2019 to 2023, that's 4 years of game sales. They're estimating right now, you're looking at somewhere between $1 and $3 when of all the people that match that criteria. So here's the thing, is that Sony likely made much more than $7.8 million by eliminating the game-specific vouchers and forcing people to buy their games on the PSN store. So it ended up being a net value for PlayStation to do this.
I didn't even know they offered game-specific vouchers.
They did offer game-specific vouchers, and previous to 2019, when they quit that, then the price went up for some of these games. So it's unlikely that this is going to be the last, and this is only for US consumers. This is not going to be the last of these lawsuits. Obviously, there's going to be much more in other territories like the UK and the EU and other places like that. So we may be seeing a very, very small amount of money, very distant in the future, that has to do with that happening. But that did happen this week. Chaos writes, you can get money if and only if you are rubbing your tummy, patting your head, and jumping on one foot between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. If you did this after 10 a.m., you are in fact looked 1% more dumb and are entitled to compensation. Pretty much. So it's you're not going to get a huge payout. It's not going to be a big amount, but that settlement is out there. So keep your eyes on it because a buck is a buck.
Yeah, I'll take a
Smart
buck.
millionaires will pick up a quarter off the ground for good reason. As I have learned,
still
rich
trying to
people
find, like-
actually care about money.
I'm trying to find like a picture of a game-specific voucher. I'm just like going through Google
Well,
Images.
let me take a look at some of these games. I'll pull up the list. Stand by.
Oh, I have the list. I have the
Oh,
list.
okay. Well, what are some of the games?
Got Destiny 2, Assassin's Creed Chronicles, Demon Souls, Persona 4 Golden, Need for Speed Rivals, Battlefield Hardline, Star Wars Battlefront, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Mass Effect Trilogy, Resident Evil 4, Okami HD. Okami, let's look at Okami
I'm
HD.
pulling it up right now. There you go. Here's your list. Come on.
I wanna see what these look like because I didn't even know that these things existed.
So here it is. Star Wars Battlefront, Madden 17, FIFA 17, NHL 17, NBA Live 18, NBA Live 19, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Mass Effect. I bought
It's a wild set of circumstances to get money.
pretty much everything WWE, pretty much everything NBA, Saints Row 2, Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited. I know some of you bought that. Hold the Jack boxes. Until Dawn, Infamous First Light, Journey, bought that. Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection, God of War 3 Remastered. Yeah, so these are all the games. If you see any of these games that you purchased between 2019 and 2023, you are owed money due to this settlement. It's just a matter of time before it comes here.
I should at least get like $10 considering how many of these I bought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you get a few bucks.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if it's going to be $3 total or if it's $3 per game.
Also, like, look, let's be honest. Let's be honest, really, what all of this means. What does all of this mean? Oh, Sony might have done some financial shenanigans to rip off the consumer, but you know what? They're very sorry, and they will give you credit onto their store so that you can continue to buy more of their things.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we ripped you off. here's money you can only spend on us.
Right. Are you hungry? Do you need to pay rent? Sorry, but we'll give you a free game.
Yeah.
You can play it in the back of your car that you're living in. So yeah,
Yes.
that's my good sounding my good story that's not a good story. Didn't AC Ray said he had a good
Yes, I saw
story?
that. The
Okay.
developers of Magic the Gathering Arena are unionizing. That is the
Really?
first subsidiary at Wizards of the Coast to unionize. This is specifically the people behind the digital version of Magic the Gathering,
Okay.
not Magic the Gathering itself, not the card game developers, not
Mhm.
them. It's specifically the developers of Magic the Gathering Arena, which I'm trying to find exactly what the developer's name is.
But that's a good thing.
Yes, absolutely good thing. Given all of the industry fuckery that we've talked about this episode, you need something to fight back against that. You need someone to say, you know what, GameStop buying eBay, that's a bad idea. That will probably not work out for
It will only
people.
end in tears.
It will only end. Let's not do that. Boy, that Activision purchase when Xbox Bad Act, that was wonderful. Everyone loves it. It resulted in reduced prices for consumers.
It was good for consumers.
It was good for the industry to
Great for the
consolidate
industry.
like 40% of the entire American gaming industry into one company that is already saying, boy, we suck. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Skydance is combined Warner Brothers. We're going to put out 45 movies a year. We're going
Only
to
going to
spend
improve
we're going to
movies and make
spend
them cheaper.
we're going to spend $30 billion making movies with $40 billion in debt. We can absolutely do all of that. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
AC Ray says that the Google overview just calls them digital game studio. Okay. But hey, all unions are good.
Yeah.
Unions are good.
Unions are good. All right, so that's all I've got. Anything else that you have?
I believe that's all I have.
Okay. So as a
Yeah.
reminder, next week we will be dark. No show next week because Nick's going to be traveling and I am going to be auctioning. I'm going to be covered in dirt and moving furniture around, hopefully for good reason. We'll see. What are you going? So you're going to play Windrose on the plane. Anything else you're going to play on the week?
I
On
want
the
to
plane?
play Titanium Court. Want to play Mini Shoot Adventures. A lot of other stuff I want to play, but I've got a whole week to do it.
Okay.
2
All
whole
right.
weeks actually.
2 weeks, yeah. So please play something. I'm going to try and play something other than Windrose, but I can't guarantee it. I may think about going live with my game to show you what I've got. I'm not going to let you see how I play because I play awful. Also, oh my God. It's a it's an early access. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally got a rifle. That's a big thing. I finally got a rifle. And I decided to break down a sword. And I should have known. I should have known that when I looked and I went to the, destruction, they have a particular like platform, like a little bench where you can like break things down and get all the components back.
Okay.
I should have known when I broke down a stone axe and got back copper. I should have known there was something wrong. So I broke down a bunch of stone axes that I had picked up, and I thought, that's funny. I thought I broke down that stone axe. Okay, I'll break it down. Oh, that's funny. I thought I broke down that stone axe. Okay, I'll break it down again. Yeah, it was misclassified. I broke down all of my firearms
Oh no.
because it showed up as a stone axe.
Ooh.
So I'm not going to necessarily let you watch me play, but I may go live just to show you where I'm at and what my settlement looks like, which is pretty sucky right now. I'm just kind of threw up a bunch of walls and put down a bed and just let it go. But if you are playing Windrose, please go on to our Discord and let me know that you're playing, because I would love to have people join our group and play Windrose with me. I know that I'm hoping that Nick likes this game as much as I do, so that he actually starts to play
Yeah. I'll let you know.
and join in on that. Also, if you're watching right now, please mash the button, whether it be the thumbs up button, whether it be the like button, whether it be the subscribe button, whether it be the notifications button. Mash all those buttons. Just hit them all right now. Just stop what you're doing. Focus on me. Go hit all the buttons because they matter. Okay, on that note, wait for it. I have to get to my media assets page, and let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 818. We did record this on May 3rd, 2026. I'm Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick Nicola. Ways to get a hold of us: gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, on Facebook, on YouTube, and Twitch. On Facebook, we are The Gamehounds. On YouTube, we are Gamehounds Vids, VIDS, all one word, as in videos, Gamehounds Vids. And on Twitch, we are The Gamehounds. Please feel free to join us live. If you are listening to us as a podcast, we would love to have you in the chat room. Thank you to everybody in the chat room who commented, especially, but not exclusively, AC Wraith, who provides all the links, everything that we talked about, all of the news articles that we talked about, every game that we talked about. If you're looking for a link to anything we referenced, it's in our comments on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. And that is courtesy of AC Wraith. Thank you, AC Wraith, for doing that. Also, special shout out to Creation Chaos, who is our occasional third chair. Thank you for being in the chat room. Love to see you. Wish you were on the show on the regular. We miss you. We love you. Wish you were here. Whatever. You know what I mean. Thanks for being here. Everybody else who's in the chat room, again, thank you for listening. If you listen to the show as a podcast, please, please, please leave us some feedback. Whether it be you suck, we hate you, or you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. It really does make a difference. You can find our show as a podcast on Apple Podcasts or most of any other podcast platform, iHeartRadio, all of those. Please, wherever you go, wherever you listen to us, leave us some feedback. It makes a huge difference in other people being able to find us more easily and get more listeners, because there's a lot of GameHounds listeners from the past who don't know that we're still podcasting. So you can help them find us by doing that. Also, patreon.com/GameHounds. That is how to support us. $1 a month is all we ask to help support us with the cost of all of the show. And of course, don't forget our Discord. Our Discord information is just about everywhere on all of our descriptions, all of our channel descriptions, whatever. You can find us there. That's where Nick and I live when we're not here. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye, everyone. All right. So, Nick.
Yes.
Have a great week. I will miss you for 2 weeks.
Yes.
A week
I'll be
without
on
you,
Discord.
day
We'll talk.
without you is like night.
I will. I'll keep you up to date on my gaming. We'll text you. Don't be in Discord.
Yeah, and if you find that you like Windrose, please let me know because I don't mind starting up because you can't convert a single player server into a multiplayer server. You have to start over
Mm,
in the multiplayer
okay.
server. So if you find that you enjoy it, please let me know so that we can create a multiplayer server. And if any of you out there are playing Windrose, let me know so that I can create a multiplayer server and invite you in. I would love to have you because it's a pretty damn fun game, not gonna lie. It's one of those games where you're playing along, it's like, "Okay, I just need to make a couple of changes to my base," and then you look up and it's like, "Oh, it's night and 11:30 at night. Oh, shit, I need to go to sleep." It's that kind of game, which is my favorite kinds of games where you can just lose yourself in it and just be deep. So,
It is.
have a
It
great
is your
week.
first step on the road to Elden Ring.
Is it really? Is it really Velvet? I
What
want
you?
you to play it if only so that you can experience, especially when you're past like the basic dodos and boars, when you're
Mhm.
actually into fighting human beings, where you can get a sense of what the real combat is. And then I don't anticipate you'll be reaching a boss battle, but especially if you reach a boss battle, so you can give me ideas like, is this what Elden Ring is really like?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I don't want to play Elden Ring, and I'm not going to say if I do play Elden Ring, I am not going to tell not a damn one of you. It is going to be my greatest secret that I will take to my grave.
Now, like I said, you won't play Elden Ring. You'll play Elden Ring too.
Even so, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
All right,
Hey,
everyone. Have a great
have a-
week. Say hi to Rachel for me.
Will do.
Enjoy your trip. Be safe, and we'll see you back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Stacey Wraith. Thanks, Chaos. Thanks, everybody else. Bye.